Marco, little Marco.
Test, test. We are back, everyone. How you guys doing? Hello, hello out there on the interwebs. We are here. Always Marco, the stream, episode, whatever it is. Thank you guys for being here. Hope you're doing well. Happy Sunday and all that and ting. We're back. I'm looking incredible, even though I sound like I'm sick because I'm not feeling 100%. But hey, baby, the show goes on. I was not feeling good enough to do it yesterday. So we're here today, making it up for you. What do we have to cover first and foremost? Should we get it out of the way? Alwaysmarco.vip, the new site, the new membership site where you'll be able to support, get early access to all the new content, as well as exclusive content, and other perks. That is alwaysmarco.vip. I will put the link in the chat right now. It's currently free to join. And once we get it fully operational, you will be able to get the extended Matt Cox podcast, the interview I did with Bottom G that never came out, as well as, like I said, all the new content early. And who knows, maybe some other top secret stuff. Streamlabs link in the chat if you want to support. Drop them bags. Always Marco merch if you want to get the merch or support, get a one-on-one call, learn the wisdom from the emperor himself. Missiontomonetization.com if you have a business that you're trying to grow on social media, or if you're trying to grow your social media and make money with that. Those are things that I know how to do, and I have a one-on-one program where I'm working with people, actually teaching them it's not just information. I'm not just giving informational pep talks. I'm actually like getting on one-on-one calls with people, sharing my screen, saying, download this app, download this editing software, download this live streaming software, click this, click this, click this. This is how you set this up. This is how you read this. Like doing the actual, like almost fucking like IT, if you will, for people who are trying to do content. And that's been going incredibly well, and I appreciate the support there. So yeah, we're here, and I'm so glad to see people waking up to the grift apocalypse and the madness that we have going on here. So, recently, if you don't follow me on Instagram, first of all, you're missing out. But this is my Instagram here, okay? I posted in the last 2 days. Really, it was the last 20, not even 2 days. But I posted from the stream that I did on I believe it was Wednesday, where I reacted to the Patrick Bet-David and Jack Neal podcast. I cut, I think, 6 clips from that. Yeah, 6. For some reason on the computer, Instagram doesn't show like my analytics and whatever, so I'm going to show you on here. Or I guess I can go dashboard on the computer, can't I? No, how do I do this without revealing all of my personal information? Dox your personal info. Who cares? Dox it. Okay, here, account insights. Okay, I can show you this. So right now, the account insights are showing me 2.3 million views on the channel or on the page, mostly from non-followers and mostly from Reels. So this is actually something that I showed in the free workshop that I did on missiontomonetization.com, which you can go watch the replay absolutely for free. The way that I'm doing this is I did a live stream, which just to prove to you that this works and that I'm not a bullshitter like Patrick Bet-David, I did this stream. Sorry, this was last Saturday I did this stream. I did this stream, Numbers Guy Blesses Us with a New Yap Sesh, where I'm just watching the full Jack Neal podcast with Pat. It got 5,000 views, okay? I cut 6 clips from that. Those 6 clips got posted on Instagram trial reels. So as Instagram trial reels, if you have at least 1,000 followers on Instagram, forgive me, if you have at least 1,000 followers on Instagram, you can post a trial reel, which is a reel that doesn't show up on your page. It just shows up on the Reels feed to non-followers when they're scrolling. So it's basically Instagram's algorithm deciding who to show it to. And in many cases, when I've posted a trial reel and I've posted the same video again, like to my actual followers, the trial reel does significantly better, which makes sense because I do trust the multi-billion-dollar algorithm to figure out who's going to enjoy this content more than anybody else. So I posted 6 as trial reels. I posted the same 6 on TikTok. I've posted the same. I've posted, I think, 5 out of 6 on YouTube Shorts and 5 out of 6 on Instagram. The next one is coming out in an hour and a half. It's already been scheduled to post. And the combined viewership, mind you, these are just the clips from the stream that got 5,000 views, okay? So I'm going to show you on my phone here, okay? So actually, you can see this perfectly. So here are, as a matter of fact, let me zoom in even more. Okay. Here are the trial reels. I'm going to zoom in even more on this so that you guys can see it. Hold up. Here we go. Okay. Here's the trial reels. Okay. You can see the viewership on there. 25K, 30K, 14K, 176K, whatever. Okay. So we see it. When I posted them as normal posts, I got 65K, 56K, 56K, 17K, 16K. TikTok, the numbers were worse for all except like one of them that got, I don't know, 23K. So yeah, oh no, and one got 84K on TikTok. So between all of these, like just on Instagram, you see that the thing says 2.3 million views. This is actually going to be like 3 point something when it refreshes tomorrow. It might even be like 4 or higher million. But the point I'm trying to make is that from those 6 clips that I posted on TikTok, posted on Instagram as like to my feed, posted again on Instagram as a trial reel, cross-posted from Instagram to Facebook, and posted all 6 on YouTube as shorts. If you add up all the views across the 5 platforms, 6 clips times 5 platforms. So really, I made 30 posts in 5 different algorithms, each with their own variables determining what goes viral or not. Sometimes it flops on one, sometimes it goes crazy on another. This is like something that in the workshop I literally beg people to copy. Copy this strategy. Do a long form piece of content, a stream, a YouTube video, something, and clip it up and post it everywhere. I promise you, this is the way that I have been growing my social media. It took me, I've been on Instagram since I was in high school, bro. It took me like a decade to get to 10,000 followers. And now I've gone up, I'm almost up 10K this year. I think I started the year at like 17K. I remember I was stuck at like 17K for a long time. So this is how, and now I'm at 27.3. So this is how you do it. And this is something I'm showing and teaching people on the Mission to Monetization with the one-on-ones, is like, I'm literally saying like, okay, download DaVinci Resolve. Look at my screen. Here is exactly how you do it. Click this, add another track, do this. I'm literally showing people exactly how to do this. And then once you've made the content, guess what? It's free to post it everywhere. It's free to get these numbers. I'm a numbers guy. It's free to, maybe now that I'm sick, I'll sound even more like Patrick. I'm a numbers guy, okay? External link taps, 350. So these are people clicking the link in my bio to go to my YouTube or to go to my Mission to Monetization website. You know, if you're selling something, imagine you're getting views like this and you have a product or a service or a business that you're also promoting. This is so important, bro. Social media, whatever you're selling, social media is going to be the top of the funnel for whatever it is. And this is free. It costs me nothing to make the content. It costs me nothing to edit the content. It costs me nothing to post the content. But people still aren't doing it because they claim that they don't have the knowledge. Okay, here, I'll teach you the knowledge. Go watch my free workshop. So, yeah, the viewership, if you factor in all the platforms, is probably crazy for the last week. And also, I did the skit. I posted the skit of Patrick Bet David Goes to the Barber. That one's going crazy. 90K on my 90,000 views on my main feed on Instagram, and another 55,000 as a trial reel. Completely different viewers, by the way. Completely different people seeing it, because, like I said, trial reels shows to your non-followers. Mick Jagger's son followed me yesterday. Andrew Schultz followed me a couple of months ago off of this content. You know, and continuing that trend, here's a video we're gonna watch: The Collapse of Patrick Bet David by Lou Extras. This is You probably know his main channel, Luesta. This guy, I've been watching his videos for like a couple of years now. 1.7 million followers. He was making videos mostly about like hip hop and hip hop culture. And it's crazy to see people who I know and watch their videos knowing who I am. You know, like when Sam Cedar reacted to my, we have a Sam Cedar video we're going to react to here as well. When Sam Cedar reacted to my PBD impression, when Traplo Ross reacted to my PBD videos, when Andrew Schultz shared it. It's really a trip to see stuff like that. I remember Phillian did a reaction, Sneeko did a reaction. It's just really crazy to see like they finally let us in the game. So this is a video from Luesta that I want to watch called The Collapse of Patrick Bet David. Man, I really like to think that I played a role in knocking over, you know, the first domino of public awareness about how much of a, you know, about who this guy really is. But let's check this out. I'm going to put on 1.25 speed because it's a longer video, and I'm going to pause when it's relevant to pause and talk. And appreciate all you guys for being here. Thank you for the support. Streamlabs link is in the chat if you want to support, fight the lawsuits, all that. It's very expensive. Thumbs up the stream, click like if you want to support if you want to algorithmically boost this live so more people see it in their feed, because I always get comments of people saying, why wasn't I notified for this live? Which also reminds me, I should probably post in the Discord because I always forget to do that. I should probably background so that it's not taking up GPU or whatever. Live streams at everyone we hear. Okay, boom, that's now posted in the Discord. If you're not in my Discord, the link is also, all my links are in the description. Let's just keep it a buck. All right, here we go. Let's check it out.
The internet has made it easier than ever to become rich by pretending to be something you're not. All you need is a camera, a story people want to believe in, and enough confidence to sell it. And for a long time, that's exactly what Patrick Bet David did. On the surface, his story is genuinely compelling. An immigrant who fled Iran as a kid, rebuilt his life from nothing, and turned himself into a multi-millionaire media figure. The kind of rags to riches arc that makes people want to listen to everything you say. But the more that people listened, the more questions started to emerge. And now the mask is slipping.
Really is something from a Hollywood script. You've gone from poverty to enormous wealth, enormous influence. You interview presidents, billionaires. You're close to being a billionaire yourself. What are you chasing now? What are you chasing now that money can't buy?
Great question. So for us, I have 4 kids. I love America. And, you know, when you read the stories of Kennedys or Bushes, these big families that are built political dynasties, both of them will say, go make your money, take care of your wife and kids, and then give back to the country through charity, through government politics, or, you know, in a different form you want to give to them through, you know, media or other sorts. For me, I chose media.
And for a long time,
Yeah, can you imagine the Bet Davids being up there with the Bushes and the Kennedys? And, I mean... Yeah, I've got 4 kids, Dilly, Tico, Brooklyn, and Santa Rose. And, you know, you look at somebody who has 4 kids. Who's having 4 kids? 1, 2, 3, 4. Meaning, how many people are there going to be that has 4 kids? And how many kids are those 4 kids going to have each, right?
The fact that he made something from nothing created the assumption that he must be an authoritative voice. And after reaching a combined 9 million plus subscribers across his 2 YouTube channels, PBD was on the fast track to mainstream acceptance, appearing online as a talking head about controversial issues as he pivoted deeper into the right-wing media space.
Oh yeah, guys, I got an exclusive, by the way. Rob is no longer working at Valuetainment. Rob, pull that up. I'm still going to say Rob, pull that up in my impressions. But yeah, I did make contact with Rob, and I'm gonna chat with him hopefully later today. So yeah, Rob is no longer at VT. You know, we'll hear about it though. Also, thank you for the kind words, The Real Left Right, saying, I don't know how you're not as big as CoffeeZilla. You and him are the first people I've ever seen in 2019 doing this. You deserve your flowers. I know how I'm not as big as CoffeeZilla, because CoffeeZilla was consistent with the content that he chose to make, and I wasn't. I was dabbling in different things, and, you know, I was doing vlogs, I was doing stand-up comedy, I was doing music videos, I was doing MLM investigations, I was live streaming. CoffeeZilla just honed in and focused on one thing and did it repeatedly, and yeah, his work compounded. But you know what? I can't be mad, you know. My platform has still never stopped growing. We're at 123,000 now. We'll get there, bro. A slow climb beats the sprint, you know. So We'll get there, but I appreciate it, you guys. Thank you. And this is a completely community funded endeavor that we're on right now. So if you like and if you support the mission, pay your goon tax.
So at least the answer he
That's
gave
true.
is the life he's living. Yeah, you don't have to agree with it, but at least the answer he gave. And by the way, if your audience wants to know, he's kind of like, look, if he's providing, if he's taking care of you, let the man do whatever he wants to do. I'm just paraphrasing what he said, but that's kind of what the guy was talking about. Yeah, I mean, look, he is telling you the way he's living his life. So you don't like it, debate it, argue it, give your own argument, but at least he's congruent and aligned.
However, as his status continued to grow, more and more people became a little wary of what they were seeing and hearing. In the end, it might be his undoing. Because as people dig into both his past, present, and plans for the future, what began as a vague feeling of distrust has grown into a very real sense that we're watching a con man at work. One who will do anything to further his dreams of cementing generational wealth and power, no matter what the cost.
Patrick Bet David. He's one of these guys that I've seen, like, he's taken over the political commentary space with his show. He's a smart guy, but I've always been a little bit weary of him. Why? I'll tell you why. He reminds me of a lot of scammers online, because more than trying to gain a viewership for his content, he's always upselling some that always seem a little sketchy.
And as his psychophonetic ways become a matter of public record, it feels like PBD is getting cooked.
He is getting cooked. Golden Ram in the chat says, I'm a numbers guy. Couldn't put 2 and 2 together for Goliath Ventures. Had a 1.7 GPA in high school, never made it, allegedly. You know what? The best comment that I wish I would have said in my video about Pat and Goliath Ventures and CoffeeZilla, and this was, I don't know who said this comment, so shout out to you if you're watching, but the best comment that I read that I wish I would have said in the video was the following. Okay, you want to know what it said? I'll tell you what it said. The person in the chat said, if Pat didn't think Goliath was a scam, and if his due diligence didn't reveal anything untoward about it, why didn't he invest? Which is such a great question. It's almost an implicit, like in chess, when you play chess, there's like discovered check. That's like a discovered check of analysis, because exactly, if you thought Chris Delgado and the promises he was making through Goliath Ventures were legit, if you thought, oh yeah, I can get 3 to 5% monthly on my investment, and you're a guy with $150 million, if you have all this money and you think there's nothing suspicious about Goliath Ventures, why didn't you give him some of your money? Why didn't you invest? As you said, it was nothing for you to put $1 million in. Or $1 million is nothing to you, so why not invest $1 million?
At Xavier B 5120 dropped a bag $20 pawn super chat. If PBD's wife caught him cheating and confronted him about the affair.
Thank you, Xavier. But damn, Xavier, YouTube taking 30% of your donation because you used the YouTube super chat, which I hate to see. So in the future, definitely use the Streamlabs link in the chat. But thank you so much, Xavier. If Pat's wife caught him cheating and confronted him about the affair, his response would be, you know what an affair is? Let's look up the definition of affair. So you hear of something like internal affairs, foreign affairs, etc., right? So I'm looking at what is the biggest affair that they have in history. Number one, the Shah of Iran, when they're trying to overthrow him and put Ayatollah Khomeini in there, you got a lot of people from this place, that place, XYZ, telling you this is not the right thing, right? So I'm looking at it, and then his wife just fucking, like, he's saying this as she's packing her bags. Yeah, why didn't he invest?
From all angles, with both his willingness to do anything for cash and his purchasable political approval coming under severe scrutiny as of late.
I have a local doctor I want you to go see. He specializes in TDS. And I think you would work very well with him. Over a 6-month period, he'll be able to get rid of your TDS.
I have a guy who's a psychologist, and he deals with cult members.
Yep.
And I think he'd do well with you guys who can't get out of a Trump.
Yeah, did y'all catch that you're so funny? Pat can dish it, but he can't fucking take it. He cannot take it. He tries to accuse Mehdi of having TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. So deranged, frankly. Look at what he's doing. He's such a disgrace. And then Mehdi just swings back and is like, I've got a psychologist who deals with cult members. And what's Pat do? Oh, you're so funny.
See the difference?
I asked you, I gave you an opportunity in front of the audience to criticize Trump on Iran. You can't do it.
So let's dive into why PBD's empire is crumbling. But first, a little background. Although he may be an example of the American dream, Patrick Bet-David wasn't born on American shores. When he was just a kid, his family fled Iran during the revolution. After spending time in a German refugee camp, he moved to the States and had what he deemed to be a very difficult upbringing. "I'm a guy that grew up with gangsters," he once told The Spectator. "I come from the hood. I come from the streets. I come from the army. I'm around whites, blacks, Hispanics who come from not a lot of money. So that's who I relate to. That's my background. My mother's side, they were all communists. My dad's side, they were all
We know, Patrick. We've heard it before.
imperialists." From being a bodyguard for a drug dealer serving in an airborne infantry, Patrick struggled to find his way for much of his early adulthood. However, he believed it all contributed to his unique outlook, and he knew he wanted financial freedom. Eventually, he found his way into the hallowed halls of Morgan Stanley, working as
Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, you have to say all 4 words just to waste an extra second of the viewer's time, okay? That's number 1, right?
a financial advisor after joining the company just one day prior to the 9/11 attacks. This introduction to the world of money and high-stakes deals would be followed by a stint at Transamerica before he reached his goal of being his own boss.
Say the full name, Transamerica World Financial Group.
This entrepreneurial drive led to the founding of his PHP firm, a hugely successful health insurance enterprise that expanded to thousands of agents operating under the motto, people helping people.
The champ is here!
Did you ever think you would make it? Pause right on Coffee's face. I love that. I don't know, taste sweet victory, and then this life meant for me. Yeah, why would you? I know they feel my pain, but why would they test greatness? Why would you bet on Goliath when we got Bet David? Such a stupid, corny song.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
One company dares to dream bigger and do the impossible.
We're going to do the impossible, right? We're going to sell a bunch of people life insurance. Do they need it? Do they not need it? We don't know. But ultimately, what we're doing is, what are we solving for? We're going to try to find the people who's doing, are they happy with their job or are they not happy with their job? So we're taking them and we're bringing them over here and saying, buy insurance, right? And recruit 5 more people to buy insurance, who's also going to recruit 5 more people. And I'm going to make a lot of money.
One company pushes the limits of the status quo.
Wow. We got it all, guys. We got people smoking cigars. They have the top compensation plan.
With the top compensation package in the marketplace.
Spoiler alert, every multi-level marketing company has the best compensation plan in the industry, just so you know.
For entrepreneurial agency builders, PHP is ushering a new era of multicultural and diverse agents.
This business has courted plenty of controversy since he became a public figure, and we'll be detailing its role and the precarious position that he's in right now. That aside, it was a chess move from Patrick, financially, if not ethically. And today, he estimates that Lion Holdings, the parent company of his businesses, is worth more than $500 million.
Pull up the bingo sheet.
If you're not familiar with PBD, you're probably wondering exactly how this guy became a viral sensation worthy of a video like this, rather than just another faceless businessman. Well, the answer to that comes down to a 2015 video known as The Life of an Entrepreneur.
Adam in the chat says, Adam, what's your point? Adam says you would make dumb money if you did a weekly, if you just weekly did a PBD spoof show. I mean, I'm definitely due to do another Patrick Bet-David like impersonation stream, so I'm happy. But you know what? People have been telling me, you know, there was the TV show The Walking Dead, and then they had the podcast The Talking Dead, or like there was the Hawk Tua podcast or Talk Tua, and then there was the podcast called Talk Tua, which was like an analysis podcast about the podcast. Hilarious. I probably could literally do, I could probably make all of my content twofold. One is me like providing my meta commentary on just the new episodes of PBD's show, or the following, me doing impressions of Pat himself. But you know, I've got more. We've got more we're trying to do, so we can't just focus all on the one guy. I already get comments being like, "Bro, you're obsessed with Patrick Bet-David," but I get way more comments being like, "Bro, more, please, more."
In 90 seconds.
Most people only pay attention to the final product of a successful entrepreneur. They say things like, I can never be like them, or they got lucky. What most don't see is what they've overcome. All the struggles, the daily rejections, the heartaches, the betrayals, the rumors, the criticism, the empty bank account, and all those lonely nights while trying to make their vision a reality.
Always taco, so true. What up, Specs?
You see, the only difference between the one who quits and the one who doesn't is that they showed up every day. They worked hard every day. They hustled every day. They learned from a proven mentor every day. They improved every day. They did all this even though they felt like quitting every day. And eventually, they became who they are today.
After this video accumulated millions of views online, Patrick began posting more regularly, basically acting as though his life has been a masterclass in marketing and billing himself as a staggering success that you should all take cues from.
It's amazing how if you just wear a suit, people will be like, he must know what he's talking about.
Number one product in the world you're selling is people. You'll have a major edge over your competitors. I'm making very good money, Ken, but not a single guy in my office is making $100,000 a year income. And finally, I'm like, man, I want to be known as a leader amongst leaders.
From how to ask for a raise and how to create a reputation of giving back, his videos gradually gathered steam over the years. And in 2020, Valuetainment expanded with the launch of the PBD podcast. Around the same time, the pandemic hit. And Patrick basically billed himself as a critic of the mandates and their effect on business.
90% of the time, we're going to be okay. This is not worse than Ebola. It's not worse than MERS. It's not worse than Zika. It's not worse than SARS. Guess what? We're going to be all right. Market's going to recover. I know they need us.
The market, everybody. Mark that off on your bingo sheet, the market. Also, if you want to access the actual Patrick Bet David bingo sheet, it is in the in my Discord. So I'll put a link to my Discord in the chat. Of course, it's free to join that. It is pinned. If you go into the general on my Discord server, multi-level Marco, you can see that there is a, you can click the pin thing, and it's, here it is. I'll actually put a link to the bingo itself in the chat here for you guys as well. Is PBD just Gary V? The rise seemed similar. Kind of, right? Because didn't Gary V blow up off that video where he was like, you're going to die one day, motherfucker. One day you're going to be dead, okay?
Story. There's a re-election year. There's a lot of panic. They don't want Trump to get re-elected. They want another candidate to come in. Media doesn't want certain things. They're not happy with Trump. I fully get all that stuff.
The next step and plan was the release of his business strategy book, Your Next 5 Moves, a publication which went on to become a bestseller. Billed by his supporters as an innovative thinker, Patrick kept dispensing wisdom and engaging in conversations with a wide array of people.
The only bird that dares to attack an eagle is a crow, but the eagle never fights back. Here's why. The crow is the only bird bold enough to sit on the eagle's back and peck its neck. Relentless.
Should also be on the bingo sheet. What is the market saying about eagles, right?
And annoying, but the eagle stays calm. The eagle doesn't flap, doesn't fight, doesn't waste energy. It does one thing: it rises. The higher the eagle soars, the thinner the air becomes. The crow, it can't handle that altitude. Eventually the crow gasps, loses strength, and falls off. Not because the eagle attacked, but because the eagle ascended. Let the crows talk, let them peck. You don't have to respond, just keep going higher. It can't follow you forever. Your growth will suffocate their noise, so don't engage, elevate.
Don't reply, you say, huh, Patrick, Mr. Free Speech? Funny how your lawyers contacted a guy that I interviewed a couple of months ago who used to work for Bet David Consulting, demanding that the video that he was on get taken down, which, you know, I didn't want him to deal with your bullying, and so I did. I took it down, you know, but, oh, okay. Very eagle of you.
Cited as an example of a true entrepreneur, he counted the likes of Kobe Bryant and Magic Johnson, author Robert Greene, billionaires Ray Dalio and Mark Cuban, and Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak among his guests and friends. But it was obvious that he was always striving for more connections when he appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast and literally showed up with expensive gifts to get in his good graces.
So, you're a Jimi Hendrix guy.
I love that there's now like a cumulative repository of videos showing how much of a clown this guy is. Unfortunately, the CoffeeZilla debate with him in 2021 didn't like bring enough scrutiny, and CoffeeZilla didn't really press that much harder after the video he made, as well as the you know, interview debate he did with Patrick, where Patrick just was basically dancing around and yapping the whole time, of course. But then it's like this Joe Rogan thing that it still wasn't enough for people to feel like this guy's a snake, but it was enough for people to feel like weird about it. And now it's just evolved and snowballed.
Right? I think you're a Jimi Hendrix guy. Perfect. I got this. We looked up to see what we can do with Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix did a month-long special Jimi Hendrix pen that while you're sitting here writing stuff, I know you're probably not a big guy that you care about having a fancy pen or not, but we got you the special limited edition Mont-Blanc pen with Jimi Hendrix. I hope you like it.
Sure.
Okay? So that's one. Two, I think when I think about personalities that kind of push the envelope a little bit, presidents in the past that were anti-establishment people that pushed the envelope. One of the names you think about a guy named Andrew Jackson. Okay. This took me a minute to find this, but this is a letter written by Andrew Jackson.
He's writing me a letter. This is a letter from Luigi Mangione. I'm thinking, my people, they come to me, my assistant is saying, we got a letter from Andrew Jackson. I'm saying, which Andrew Jackson? The Andrew Jackson, the one who was a U.S. president? So he's sending me a letter. What is the letter saying, right?
President, signed at the bottom.
with COA, and he is known as the first ever anti-establishment president, minus the founding fathers. So I hope you like this. This represents that aspect of you.
This was
Why the fuck would you get Joe Rogan that, Patrick Bet-David? Why would you do that?
painful for people to see, but it clearly worked, as he went on to become a repeat guest. Amid all this growth in the media sector, PBD remained an active part of PHP, and in 2022, he sold a company to Integrity Marketing Group for over $300 million. Once again, Patrick had another win on his hands that he could use to bolster his image as a business mastermind. The only problem was that because he was so visible, people went digging, leading to further scrutiny of day-in, day-out operations.
Exactly. Your greed will consume you whole, Patrick. It wasn't good enough for you to be like, you know, there's countless MLM CEOs out there who are deca millionaires that are just not public figures like that. You've never heard of them. They're on their John Smith. You've never heard of them. But they sit back and they kind of keep a low profile. For example, yesterday marked the 1 year anniversary of my Unicity, infiltrating a pyramid scheme Unicity video. I love that video so much. It didn't perform as well as I wanted it to. It has like 81,000 views as of now. But that's like my most ambitious video ever. And I'm so proud of that video. And, you know, I filmed that in Bangkok, Thailand. And I crashed the, you know, big event of this big MLM called Unicity. And their CEO, Stuart Hughes, is an example of like, if you want to be an MLM CEO who makes your millions of dollars for decades with little to no like public scrutiny, be like Stuart Hughes and just don't be a public figure. But for Patrick, it wasn't enough. No, he had to be rich off his MLM, and he had to get in, you know, be a famous YouTuber, and he had to get into politics, and he had to on and on and on. It's like, dude, you genuinely could have had it all and kept a low profile. I didn't even bother making a video about this guy for the first couple of years that I was on YouTube, even though I always knew that he was an MLM guy. I just never thought he was relevant enough. And then it got to the point where he started having such like high profile guests and getting recognized like in the political landscape that I was like, no. People need to know. And that's why I made that video, which now has over 500,000 views about Pat's MLM background
of the company that enabled Patrick to make his fortune and that he remains CEO of to this day. And when people took a look, they really didn't like what they saw, leading them to change the narrative around PBD from an aspirational figure to a shameless scammer. Let's take a look inside and see what everyone found so alarming about PHP's business practices. For starters, it operates through multi-level marketing, a term synonymous with the shady world of pyramid schemes. In short, this is a structure in which the profit all goes to the early recruiters, leaving less and less revenue for those at the bottom until whatever's left is basically scraps. PHP follows this trademark framework almost to the letter, with agents at the bottom of the hierarchy earning about 30 to 40% of the commission on each sale. On paper, the numbers look impressive, over 60,000 families served. But when you factor in that they've had more than 50,000 agents over the last 16 years, that works out to roughly 12 sales per agent.
Get him, Luesta, get him.
That's not a thriving sales force. That's a revolving door. And here's where it gets darker. The majority of PHP's agents are ethnic minorities, people from communities that have historically been shut off of.
Oh, there's Alejandro Aguilar, who I debated on my channel more than 2 years ago. Funny, I did a debate with this guy who was, you know, advocating on behalf of PHP before I even put out my big video about Pat. And this debate, I think, is like my most viewed live stream ever. It might be the one with Dominic Izzo, actually. Hold on, let me see. Most popular. It's my second most. They're basically tied. Here, one has 88,000 views, one has 86,000 views. If you haven't seen this debate with Alejandro Aguilar, please go watch it. It's an absolutely stunning display of like someone who has lost their mind, in my opinion. Like truly someone who has been erased of their own personality and replaced with just Patrick Bet-David's personality. It's truly remarkable to watch.
Of wealth building opportunities, and are therefore more likely to jump at what appears to be a legitimate path to financial freedom. So maybe it was just a coincidence, or as many believe, Patrick has deliberately targeted these communities because they're easier to recruit into a system that was never designed to make them rich. It was designed to make him rich. And the kicker is that there's a $200 sign-up fee just to get in the door. So before a single policy is sold, PHP is already taking money from the people it claims to be helping.
Get them.
What makes this worse is that Patrick didn't even try to hide it. He admitted targeting this demographic as a deliberate business strategy.
The biggest generation is boomers, but millennials are big. Why are we not targeting this interest? And so maybe the insurance industry was dying because their agents were going over. They went from having 500,000 agents to like 200,000 agents. People were leaving the industry. So I said, perfect, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring young girls and I'm gonna target minorities kind of like myself. So
I'm gonna target minorities. Go on.
Hispanics, African Americans, and then we'll compete in a marketplace from an angle where if I go to a house, if I'm selling you and your wife may not like me. She's done. She's not going to buy. You and I may hit it off, but she may be like, babe, I don't trust this guy. When she walks over to the bathroom, I need to text you, go over there. But if a girl comes to your house to sell, she's going to be like, oh, I understand her because she's a mom like me. And you're going to want to buy from a woman maybe more than you're going to want to buy from a man. So we went that angle. And then the average agent today is a 34-year-old Hispanic female in the company.
He literally just admitted and laid it out in plain English how his goal was to like leverage these emotional lures of like someone being another minority, somebody else also being a mother, to recruit ethnic minorities into his MLM to all pay him $200 and maybe sell an average of make an average of 12 sales per agent.
51% of our company are women, 54% are Hispanic. We're the largest percentage of that in the marketplace.
It's a bad exploitative look on the surface, but it gets even more villainous when you realize PBD actively encourages his agents to recruit their own family and friends, essentially turning their closest relationships into a sales funnel for his benefit.
Send 20 messages on Facebook now. Send 30 messages on Facebook now before you go to sleep. Ask them, what are you doing this Saturday? How are things? A simple message is how you doing, but you got to do it now. And for those of you guys that do that and you stay like that for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, it's inevitable for you to become financially free. Truly, it's inevitable.
And in terms of revenue, that's another sore spot. While PBD built his entire brand on empowerment and the promise of financial freedom, the numbers inside his own company, PHP, tell a completely different story. Over 95% of their 50,000 plus agents earn less than the average.
Yeah, Monsoon the Goon saying very small country coded shirt. He loves his blue and white. See? The blue and white, the Israel fit, another Israel fit, another Israel fit.
And the promise of financial freedom, the numbers inside his own company, PHP, tell a completely different story. Over 95% of their 50,000 plus agents earn less than the average US annual income. Nearly half, around 45%, earn less than $400 in a year. Not a month, a year. $400, that's it.
But I'm gonna tell you here right now, all of this stuff is the beginning of the stories. You'll hear about $500,000 a month, $1 million a month, $1.5 million a month, $2 million a month income, because that's the direction we're going as a company.
These figures are damning, but Patrick generally deflects from them. When pressed on it, PBD will cherry pick stories about agents who supposedly became millionaires after joining PHP, rather than discussing the broader issue at hand.
And I remember when I first met George, when he always had an Infiniti, and he always had these cars. He's driving a 488, got an Audi for himself, got one for his dad. He's made all these different investments. You got Jason driving around in a red Aston Martin, beautiful, gorgeous Aston Martin. You see him going all over the place. You're seeing Gaetan had a Ferrari, California. He got rid of that. Then he buys the new Tesla with the, the doors that come to the side for family, because they got kids now, they keep making babies. And then he ends up buying a Lamborghini, a blue one, gorgeous. I barely fit in this Huracan. Then you hear Vargas buys a yellow Lamborghini, brand new 2019, 2020. So let me get right to it. When you first come on board, the levels that we have start at the level trainee. A trainee.
Never mind. These are all like Patrick's inner circle. If Patrick is just for an analogy's sake, if Patrick is Hitler, then all of these people are like the Goring and Goebbels and, the top brass. These are all his boys.
Somebody that gets started with us, that's at 30%. To become an associate, you need to bring on board 3 business partners, 3 policies, $3,000, get licensed, you become an associate. To become an FA, you need to do 15 policies, 15 recruits, $15,000 of production within 90 days, you become an FA. To become a director, you need 30 recruits, 30 up, $60,000, you need 6 new licensed agents.
These tales of triumph pale in comparison to the whole collection of first-hand accounts of how being on PHP's books actually plays out, and the hidden clauses that'll leave you trapped in red tape. Anyone who looked remotely into him knows he's a fraudulent piece of shit. My dumbass coworker got caught up in one of his businesses, possibly former, I think he sold it. I mostly know this grifter as the pyramid scheme guy, and I'm gonna rant about this shit because it actually triggers me. They tell you that you can borrow against your investment and your investment will continue to grow. But again, you still have to pay high fees. And now you have to pay interest on that loan, eating into your investment further. Furthermore, you're still paying for their shitty, overpriced permanent life insurance that gets progressively more and more expensive every year and can get into thousands or more per month as you're older and older. There's even a point where your investment will start to get cannibalized by your insurance costs as your premiums stay the same, so they use your investment to cover the rest, which can quickly cause your invested money to hit zero if you're not paying attention. There are some policies that say if you have a lapse in payment, you forfeit your life insurance payout. This happens around the time you're 70 to 80. The time you need it the most. Completely f***ing over almost anyone that uses this as a retirement strategy.
God damn. God damn. Get him, Luesta. This is a great video.
On top of the many Reddit posts that detail harrowing
Who's that? There, who's our hero? Our hero emerges in the Luesta video. Oh, okay, watch.
Anyone that uses this as a retirement strategy. On top of the many Reddit posts that detail harrowing experiences with PHP, YouTuber Always Marco spoke to a series of people who'd been ensnared by the company, with one former agent revealing how he was treated for trying to leave.
I remember that he was trying to get me back in, and I said no. I remember that I was getting constant DMs on social media, on everything, just people saying like, you're a quitter, you're not going to amount to anything. I remember Patrick one time told me in my face, he's like, you are not going to be anything. Besides, the most you're going to achieve in your life is going to be a manager at a Nissan, something along those lines. That's the most, right? Because you are not going to be anything outside of that. You are going to be a manager at a Nissan. That's to some people that's good enough, but I mean, that's how I look at you. And I remember that I looked at him, I was like, I'm going to be much more than that, right? Like, you're not going to talk to me like this. And that's one of the things towards the end, I started being this going rogue.
And this comes from
Streamlabs link in the motherfucking chat. Quit playing with me.
A guy who routinely claims that he hates bullies.
What is the profile of a bully? The profile of a bully is he finds targets. And what does a bully fiend? Weak targets. Targets that he's not afraid of.
Damn, this is a great piece of this is a great video because I hadn't seen this clip before, the bullying clip, and that's a great point for Luesta to bring up, that this is a guy who claims he hates bullies. And in my episode with Emmanuel here, shout out to Emmanuel Rosales, what a legend. One of my favorite, this was my favorite multi-level misery episode I've done, because just purely because of how eloquently and how well understood the whole scheme was to Emmanuel. Like, he's able to speak about it in past, he's able to recall these experiences with such clarity and understand exactly what manipulation was used, that it was such a great conversation, high-level conversation that we had, right? But the next episode that's coming out on Tuesday, the next multi-level misery, is with a guy who was in one of these other insurance MLMs that people have begged me to make a video about, called Family First Life, FFL. So I did an interview with this guy, Greg, and this guy, like, the Emmanuel episode is my favorite episode so far, but the one with Greg that's coming out on Tuesday is without a doubt like the most insane episode. Like, the stories that he has to share are just mad.
Victor Ramsahawk donated 10
Here we
Canadian
go. Victor,
dollars.
what a legend. Thank you.
I caught the live a bit later, so I started watching from the start, and you mentioned Rob is no longer with PDB.
True.
My best YouTube refresh pull was Bob Lazard back on Joe Rogan. If you get Rob on that, we'll top that, bro. And have Rob giving all the ins.
Rob, pull up the donation from Victor, which was way too long, but thank you, Victor. I appreciate that. Yeah, shout out to Emmanuel, man.
And I was like, I'm going to be much more than that, right? Like, you're not going to...
Comes from a guy who routinely claims that he hates bullies.
Yes, Rob is gone. Rob followed me on Instagram like a week ago. Patrick Bet-David's producer, Rob pulled that up, and I thought that was weird. And then I officially had it confirmed to me yesterday that he is no longer at Valuetainment. And I don't want to say the conversation we had, but we had I sent Rob a message, and he responded to me and gave me his number and said that if I want to talk, I can call him. So I have to do that. I probably should have did that before this stream, but I'll do it after. I'll give Rob a call. I'm going to do it off the record. I'll give Rob a chance to talk. But I mean, the plot thickens.
What is the profile of a bully? The profile of a bully is he finds targets. And what does a bully fiend? Weak targets. Targets that he's not afraid of. Targets that back down. Targets that don't come back at you, right?
Given all the intel that came out about the business, it's no surprise that the likes of CoffeeZilla have stayed on his neck about it.
People that want to use it to make millions, but quite frankly, we have a lot of people that do it to want to make $500 a month, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month.
I think that's complete. So respectfully,
Yeah.
I think that is absurd. The reason people get involved is not with an entire company to go sell stuff. Is not you don't become a part-time salesman to make $500 a year.
Then
or
that's where we
$200 a
disagree.
year.
Then that's where we disagree.
They
But
think,
it's not hyped up
and
marketing,
they think because
Yeah.
people tell them that part-time you're going to make $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. They think
Look.
part-time you're going to make $60,000 a year. It's so much better. They flock in. They realize they've been misled,
if you
and
would
then
be
they
willing
stop.
to be reasonable with me, I can have a discourse with you, but you're not. You cannot sit
What am I
here
not
and
being
tell me.
reasonable about?
I'm asking you a question.
No, Patrick, fuck you. You're being asked a question. And he wants to play the victim. You're not being reasonable with me. Actually, let me tell you a story about when I was in the military. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of my country. How about that? Fuck you. Fuck you. You know, I'm often accused, actually, of being a self-hating brown man, or that I, like, wish that I was white. I've had even relatives say this to me before. You know why? Because I take a special kind of offense to Arab immigrants coming to a Western country and acting out of place. The reason is because when my relatives immigrated to Canada, it was in the 80s when Israel was blowing up Lebanon, okay? When my older relatives came to Canada, they assimilated. They did their best to adhere to the social norms. They weren't haggling people like they're at a open air bazaar in Saudi Arabia or something like that. They, you know, Bassem became Brad, and Mohammed became Mo, and Samir became Sam, and they did their best to, like, fit in and speak proper English and, get rid of their accents and be a contributing member to society. So I take special offense when people like Patrick come from another country like Iran, which, whatever you want to say, I'm Iranian, I'm Assyrian, I'm Persian, I'm Phoenician. They're Arabs, okay? And they come and they do shit like this, running multi-level marketing schemes, playing the victim, and then becoming that which they presumably would have hated had they never made it out of Iran. You know, you come and you're a vampire sucking the blood of, like, the Latino immigrants that you admit to recruiting and targeting specifically. That's the word you used, is target. And then getting on your podcast and having Trump on there. Getting on your podcast and, like, having these strong views about immigration and illegal immigration, which are such flimsy answers, such flimsy positions that anytime you actually get pressed, like when he did the interview with Mehdi Hassan, you see that it's just nonsense. When Mehdi Hassan said to him, oh, so you would have come to the country illegally? I don't know. I take a special offense to it because, I was in first grade when 9/11 happened. You can imagine what the low-hanging fruit was for, kids will be kids to say mean things for my entire schooling career. So I've always felt a disproportionate pressure almost to disprove any stereotypes somebody might have about me just by looking at me, by being a good person, by being well-spoken, by being honest, by being truthful, by being generous, etc., etc., etc. Because I know that there are racist people out there who have misconceptions about people like that look like me. And unfortunately, and this goes back to the thing I said about why relatives have even accused me of being like a self-hating brown man, or like I want to be white, is because unfortunately, a lot of times the stereotypes are true. A lot of times people do come from countries that my relatives came from and they don't know how to fucking act. That's true. And so, I even said this in a post that I made recently. It might have been in the video where I reacted to the Mehdi Hassan thing. But when I think of immigrants destroying America, I don't think of like people fleeing war. I don't think of like, some farmer who doesn't speak English very well that's coming here to try and make a better life and work in work fast food or work in a factory. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is people like Patrick Bet David. who come to America and say, "Oh, I love America. Yeah, number one world is the number one place in the entire world, and we left Iran and this and that." But you are what makes it bad. You are one of the reasons that it's bad. The reason I called this stream "The Emperor Has No Clothes" is because in the fable, "The Emperor Has No Clothes," it is about a wealthy emperor who is tricked by con men into buying a magical suit of clothing that is supposedly invisible to anyone who is stupid or unfit for their job. And so it's almost like the emperor falls under this impression that only those who are worthy will see his new suit, which makes him feel special because obviously the plebs are not going to be able to even lay their eyes upon this majesty of this new suit. And of course, there is no suit. He's actually just naked, walking around naked. So the emperor proudly struts through the streets naked, and the townspeople are cheering him, but nobody will admit that they can't see the clothes. And finally, there's an innocent child that's in the crowd, and they point out the obvious and they yell, but he has nothing on at all. And so this term is used as like a phrase to describe situations where people blindly go along with an obvious lie or a flawed idea because of social pressure, which creates this collective delusion, this collective illusion. Multi-level marketing is one example of that, of "The Emperor Has No Clothes." That's why I spend so much time making fun of it. John Smith, and it's some guy, some fat, frumpy, middle-aged white guy rolling on stage, and people are treating him like he's a celebrity. And what does he do? Nothing. He's just a bullshit talker who recruits people, who recruit people, who recruit people. Patrick Bet-David. Well, when I'm doing this and I'm doing that, endless yap. Wearing a suit, this appeal to authority, this disguise of, so we had the insurance company and we're doing this and that. The emperor has no clothes. Do you see? Do you see now? Do you see beyond the suit? Do you see beyond the grift? Do you see beyond the slicked back hair and the $600 Italian leather shoes and Sammy the Bull Gravano and Kobe Bryant? Do you see? Thank you, Adam. I don't know which Adam this is that dropped on the Streamlabs. Thank you to Adam. Adam says, since watching Always Marco, I've begun seriously wondering what PBD is like off camera. To his staff, to his kids, and to his wife, who seems legit in prison. I did a podcast that never came out back in February. I went to California, and I did an interview on a podcast, which was a well-put-together production. You haven't really seen me on many podcasts, if any, because, I did the Matt Cox one, has 1 million subscribers. I don't really do podcasts because the podcast offers I get, for the most part, are like some podcast that hasn't even put out one episode yet, or like something with 3,000 followers. Like, no disrespect, but there's literally no point in me doing that podcast. So I did this podcast back in February, and it never came out because the one of the hosts of the show, I thought we were going to end up talking about a bunch of stuff, and one of the hosts of the show ended up just arguing with me from the get-go about WFG. And, oh, no, it's not a pyramid scheme. And, oh, no, it's not a scam. And actually, I ran a multi-level marketing company before, and I used to work for World Financial Group, and you don't understand it. And it was like literally an hour and a half, if not 2 hours, of me just like spanking this man who was old enough to be my father about the misconceptions he had, which he was very strongly convinced of and convicted of, and he tried to use every logical fallacy in the book against me, and he tried to appeal to his age and say, yeah, well, you're young, you don't understand. And I said, yeah, it's sad to me that you're old enough to be my father, and I have to explain these concepts to you that, you should have already known by now. You really have even less of an excuse to not understand this because you're in your 50s. And I think he was embarrassed by it, and they never put the episode out. But one thing about this podcast is they also, and this is why I wanted to go on it, because they had previously had Patrick Bet-David on a year before. And so I thought, and they were very complimentary to him. So I wanted to go on the podcast and ask these guys, hey, you guys have interviewed Patrick Bet-David. What the fuck were you thinking? Like, surely you see the emperor has no clothes. And no, unfortunately, they very much thought the emperor had clothes. But one thing they told me, and this relates directly to Adam's question here in the super chat or in the Streamlabs donation. He says, wondering what PBD is like off camera. They told me that when it came to the topic of Israel, that Patrick was one way on camera and another way off camera. That's all I'm going to say about that. Ignacio, thank you as well for the support, saying his boy from Bakersfield is the one that helps him recruit Hispanic victims, the bald guy. Yes, I remember. I remember that guy. He blocked me when he got ratioed in my comments one time. I forget his name. Ignacio? Is that it? No. Is that his name? Ignacio something? Thank you, Luban 888 as well. Appreciate you. What would a debate with PBD look like if PBD had to take a truth serum? It'd be over pretty quickly. Let's see. I'm reading your guys' comments here. Rob got tired of PBD verbatim telling him to type into ChatGPT. Hilarious. Rob should write a regime change book on PBD. So hilarious. Yeah, about my comment about immigration. Board Black Sheep says, I get what you mean. When they assimilate, people continue to help refugees. Now that nobody attempts to assimilate, nobody wants to help refugees. Yeah, it's true. Anthony says, what is the profile of a bully? Quoting entire Power versus Force sheet from top of your head on your own show. Hilarious. PBD immigrated to America to sell us $600 shoes. Yeah, and multi-level marketing slop. And $17,000 VIP tickets to the Vault Conference, which is sponsored by a fucking Ponzi scheme. Great. Love to see it. Ozank says, what is your opinion of the reasoning that stupid people deserve to be scammed? I've said this before. I disagree with it because you find yourself on a very slippery slope. Does that mean then it's okay to do it? That's like saying physically weak people deserve to be bullied, or like physically weak people deserve to be robbed because they should have been in the gym. They should have been more physically capable. Well, what if two people come up and rob you? Do you still deserve it? Oh, well, you should have had a gun. Like, how far is the victim blaming going to go? And when it comes to being scammed, even if you're stupid, never mind, even if you're smart, how does your intelligence have to do with the other person's ability to be deceptive and duplicitous? That's the problem. That's the moral issue, is one person making a conscious decision to be deceptive. If I, as the person who's getting scammed, choose to trust you and believe you because I'm a good person, and I would never think to scam anyone or deceive anyone, and so I don't assume that you're doing it to me, and then you scam me. Am I stupid for that? It's a very dark and pessimistic way of looking at the world. And also, all of us have probably had relatives or classmates at some point in our life with some sort of learning disability or impediment. Does that mean then it's okay to scam someone with autism or with Down syndrome, for example? Because you know what I mean? So because somebody is not mentally capable of like discernment, it's okay to scam them. I would argue that actually makes it worse. You're actually an even worse piece of shit if you scam someone who's stupid. So that's my thoughts on it. But I do understand why people in this pessimistic world have the knee-jerk reaction to be like, well, you deserved it. It's like, I even got a comment today. Somebody's like, oh, if you get scammed by these Indians, they commented on my post about unicity and all the guys are Indian. And they were like, if you get scammed by these Indians, you deserve it. And I'm like, yeah, but bro, these Indians are scamming each other. Like, they're scamming their own fucking relatives. So their relatives aren't looking at it like, oh, this greasy Indian is scamming me. They're looking at it like my nephew is trying to give me a business opportunity, or my cousin, or what, you know what I mean? So it's just a very narrow, it's a very narrow-minded point of view, and it's just incorrect in my opinion. P. Adams says, the John Smith stuff is so funny. My very, very small stint in World Financial Group was super eye-opening to that. They were naming people off who never showed up on a Google search, acting as if they were A-list. I know. It's so sad, isn't it? Isn't it sad?
You're a smart guy. Do you actually think a person who doesn't sell one home a year, that's the real estate industry's fault?
I mean, I've obviously seen this debate before, but this is a common false equivalence that I even debunked in my Unicity video when somebody tried to bring up the fact that most realtors only sell like one house a year or something like that. There's a big difference there that makes it a false equivocation, which is that as a realtor, you don't also have to buy a house to be a realtor. You also don't have to recruit more realtors in order to increase the commission that you would make on the sale of a home. You're actually trying to sell homes to people who want them in a marketplace where there is actually like competition and things matter like geography and location and climate. Whereas in a multi-level marketing company, like think about how as a realtor, it would be against your own interest to recruit more realtors. If you live in a city like I do with 1 million people, isn't it better for you to have less competition so that there's more houses for you to sell? The last thing you would want is to recruit more people to sell the same thing you're selling in a closed, geography with limited population. But that's exactly what MLMs do. I've given the analogy before, like if you're the only ice cream truck in the neighborhood, anyone who wants ice cream has to buy from you. If all of a sudden 5 ice cream trucks pop up tomorrow, that's going to be bad for your business. It's going to be better to have a monopoly. And what did these idiots say? Like Feby Francois, the guy in World Financial Group who I debated like 2 years ago, when I brought up that exact ice cream analogy point, and he said, it's ice cream, it will melt. The sunken place.
He's even been taken to task for it in recent.
Hold on. Reading your chats here. Golden Ram says, I think it's finally caving in on PBD. We're in a very different place from 2023. No one trusts him now. I agree with that. That's not actually the PBD in the chat. Iranians are Arabs. In my book, they are. Legal does not equal ethical. True. Arabs, white person accent, hilarious. Stop trying to make this about race. You know exactly what Marco means. PBD must have sent Slay J. I don't know what that means. Just like any cult, it steals your soul and a chain reaction occurs. Pat GPT in the house, hilarious. Rob, pull up Marco's chat about me. Keller Williams is a recruitment-based real estate brokerage. No comment. Thank you, Slide Tendencies. But guys, why are we... Use the Streamlabs. Streamlabs in the chat. Most everyone is one way on screen and a different way regarding our greatest ally. F all these scumbags who support the Zios. Yeah, that's another video that we're going to have queued up here.
Debates where it was obvious that he was rattled by the accusations.
I know that you're valuetainment, right? You run a YouTube podcast. You also run Peach.
There's me again. There's me again.
Rattled by the accusations.
I know that you're valuetainment, right? You run a YouTube podcast. You also run Peach P Agency, right?
Yep.
Yes. And you sell life insurance policies, right?
Life insurance and annuities.
Yes. I read an article by the Daily Beast which argued that you make more money from recruitment fees to get people to work for you than you make money from selling those policies. Capitalism is when you provide a service and sell the labor of yourself or the person who works for you in return for money. But you're not really doing that, right? You're selling being part of the company through recruitment fees. I'm not sure that's capitalism.
How familiar are you with the insurance industry?
Again, doesn't answer and just says, how familiar are you with the insurance industry? Here's the first great deflection. Patrick does something every MLM I've ever seen does. What do you know about the insurance industry? Never mind the fact that whatever product an MLM is selling is just the disguise of that MLM. Deviates the conversation away from the structure of the MLM, which is inherently fraudulent. The endless chain is inherently fraudulent. It's what a pyramid scheme and a Ponzi scheme both rely upon, the endless chain. Instead, he goes, what do you know about the insurance industry? Well, Patrick, I'm sorry to tell you, you're not in the insurance industry. You're in the multi-level marketing industry, and you use insurance as your disguise. Herbalife would say, oh, we're in the supplement health industry, but they're not. Monet, they're in the skincare, hair care industry, but they're not. They're just using those products as their disguise for what the real moneymaker is, which is the endless chain.
Since then, it's even come
I'm so glad that Luis included that clip. What a legend.
to light that the company is loathed by others in the industry, suggesting that how they move is basically an open secret. I work in insurance. Me and my coworkers have nothing good to say about these fuckers. Even if his business dealings at PHP clearly worked out for him, it's not a matter that he's prone to giving a straight answer on.
Multi-level marketing, who do you think about? What companies do you think
Amway.
about? Okay, Amway is a $12 billion company. So
Again, doesn't answer. Oh, so multi-level marketing, right? So when you think of multi-level marketing, you think of Amway. Well, they were $12 billion, right? So $50 billion.
in MLM, there is unilevel, there's binary, there's matrix.
Doesn't matter. There's also the stair-step breakaway plan. There's also the, it doesn't matter how you draw it on paper. I've explained this before too. Unilevel plan, MLM. Forced matrix plan, MLM. I'm pulling this up just to show you. Binary plan, MLM. I'm just bringing this up to show you how nonsensical of a point this is that he's making and how deceptive it is. So, this is an example of a unilevel plan in an MLM, okay? This is an example of a binary plan in an MLM, and this is an example of a forced matrix plan in an MLM. So, what do you see here? In this one, there's one person who recruits 5, who each recruit a random number, 3, 2, 3. In a binary plan, you have 2 below you. You have a left leg and a right leg. They each have 2 below them and 2 below them. This one, this person has, the force matrix is 3 below, then 3 below, then 3 below. They also do ones where you can only have 1 level below you, but you can have an unlimited amount of people in that level. And then same with those people. All of these things have one thing in common. They're all an endless chain. And whether you divide, whether you multiply 1 times 5 or 1 times 2 times 2 times 2 or 1 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, you end up with the same mathematical scam problem, which is that it's an endless chain where you can only repeat it X amount of times before you run out of people on Earth to recruit. So even bringing this up in a debate with, or in an interview, even bringing this up is such a distraction from anyone who doesn't already understand this. They're going to hear those words and be like, whoa, this is fancy sounding language. This is beyond my understanding. Forced matrix, unilevel, binary. I don't know what that means. Oh, let me just not look into it anymore. It's nonsense. 1 recruits 3, recruit 3, recruit 3. 1 recruits 2, recruit 2, recruit 2. 1 recruits 5, recruit 5, recruit 5. It doesn't matter. The inherent fundamental issue that makes it deceptive is still there regardless of how you draw it out on paper.
Okay.
And over time, it's permanently altered how people saw not only him, but his rags to riches story. At one stage, Patrick bragged on X about becoming a millionaire by working 80 hours a week. But rather than being celebrated, he was quickly hit with a community note, calling him out for the questionable tactics that led to his wealth.
I did a video about this too. What up, Tretino? Only reason he loves Israel because of his handlers. Do you know the difference between MLM and an FMO? Yeah, that he said that to CoffeeZilla during their debate. Like, feel FMO. Like, shut up. Just answer the fucking question, you rat. Also, I missed a donation from somebody here. Thank you, Golden Ram, saying, Rob, pull this up. Appreciate you.
In response, Patrick responded by tagging Elon Musk and whining that the note was a personal attack.
Elon, help me, Elon.
Elon Musk.
Meant to damage his public image, stemming from his political beliefs. The note is true. You are a scammer and you deserve to be shamed for destroying people's lives. And the community note provides important context that you're a piece of shit masquerading as a hardworking immigrant. When Patrick couldn't defend himself on X, he retreated to his own podcast. He ran back to his podcast to cry about it, to the only audience still willing to listen.
He explains how in the 70s, one of the things that happened in the 70s and 80s is the media, every time you would see somebody become a billionaire, everybody would say he made his billions by hurting someone.
I have 2 quick points. This thing really bothers me, this community note. Why does it bother me? I didn't work for PHP. I worked in the insurance industry. And if there's anybody that would know about being the black sheep of the life insurance industry, it's this guy that...
Shut up, Adam. That's all I have to say about Adam. Shut up. Shh. Quiet. Oh, shit. I fucked it up.
The media, every time used by
me. I didn't work for PHP. I worked in the insurance industry. And if there's anybody that would know about being the black sheep of the life insurance industry, it's this guy that worked in the life settlement world. How many life settlement companies went out of business? You said you went down to Waco, Texas one time, Life Partners out of the... I would call people. People don't know.
None of this is actually addressing the fucking community. No, you're just telling stories.
What I do, it's basically the exact opposite of life insurance. I buy existing life insurance policies for people and I give them cash. Very interesting business model, very lucrative if you can make your way in this world.
People are just hating on me because I have $1 billion, $50 billion, $100 million. That's the only reason people are hating on me, right?
When I met PBD in the gym at a NALBA conference, massive insurance conference, he told me his business strategy, Blue Ocean strategy. I said, wow, good luck with that, man. I don't know anybody who's doing that. What I do know about the life insurance business is that every 2 years you have to do continuing education to go out there and recruit by law, and start a business and start.
Tom, also shut up. By law, by the way. Actually, it's legally required. Shut up, Tom Ellsworth. Tom's sitting there right now writing notes to send to the lawyer while watching this stream.
Start with a Blue Ocean strategy recruiting Latina females.
In surveying both his behavior and his own admissions about how he runs things, it's no surprise that losing control of how he's viewed affected him. At every turn, Patrick fiercely defends his brand and expects high standards from employees. At one stage, he wound up basically doing a live performance review for his polarizing co-host Adam Sosnick after he was schooled by Dave Smith on the Piers Morgan show.
You live in America, tough guy. You have the luxury of sitting in your little studio with your hooded sweater like you're 17 years old. The regime, do you mean all American president?
I'm 17
Who's your
years
favorite
old?
president in the last 50 years?
Adam, I'm
Who's
17 years old.
Who's your favorite president in the last 50 years?
I have a wife and children. Who depends on you, Adam? Your mom?
Okay, I also have
if you want to make it personal,
so you want to go personal?
You have a significant other.
We can go as personal as we can go.
No, I'm trying not to.
We can go as personal as you want.
Respond to one thing.
I don't care, Dave.
Adam, some substance.
I don't care.
To Patrick, this kind of behavior reflected badly on the entire company, and he didn't hesitate to let him know.
And the reason why I'm doing this with you openly, and I'm talking to you openly with you, is there's an element of also representing where you're coming from, where the expectation is, hey, when you go and be professionals, that's not how I handle debates. I don't handle debates that way. That's not my MO. So if you're close to me and you're handling it that way, that is not my style.
Bumbaclot.
Stubby_Gherkin just
Thank
dropped a bag
you.
28 Canadian dollars and 39 cents.
You're a
Here
legend.
go 20 more for y'all.
Gave him the money. Boom.
Thank you so much.
Here go 2 more for y'all.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Here go 2 more for y'all.
I don't do stuff like that. And Dave and I don't even agree on some of these issues. If my private feedback that I'm giving doesn't land,
The ultimate irony is Patrick Bet David giving someone else notes about how to be effective in a debate when he himself has literally been exposed either on the debate or in the eyes of viewers after the fact every single time he's done one. Gotten completely... So, oh yeah, Adam, actually you shouldn't flounder around in a debate. What you should do is do what Patrick Bet David was. Answer every question with a question. And talk about when you were in the military and when you were working at Bally's and when you were working at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter the day before 9/11 and Dilly Tico, Brooklyn, Santa Rose, and the insurance industry and what is the market saying and the Shah of Iran. Fuck you.
and it feels like you have immunity to go run around and say whatever you want and keep saying, I don't give a what people say. I do.
But instead of worrying about what his co-hosts were doing to his reputation, he should have been a lot more concerned about his own decisions. Because in recent times, Patrick's willingness to take the cash of another company has spelled nothing but trouble.
Fall Conference this year is brought to you by Goliath Ventures. The title sponsor of this entire event is Goliath Ventures. Founder Chris Delgado. We've spent a lot of time with these guys. They've come to Yankees games with us. They've been coming to Vol conferences for the last God knows how many years. Goliath Ventures, founded in 2019. Goliath Ventures is a global private equity firm focused on blockchain, founded by Chris Delgado. It's built on 3 pillars: technology, opportunity, and community. Built on 3 pillars: technology, opportunity, and community. You can go search them, GoliathVenturesInc.com, to learn more about them. They'll be at the Vol conference all over the place.
The Justice Department says the 34-year-old scammed investors out of $328 million through his company, Goliath Ventures.
Recently, PBD has come under fire for championing Goliath Ventures, a company whose logo featured an upside-down triangle, which was later revealed to be a Ponzi scheme. And these aren't just allegations. They are verified facts that led to the arrest of Christopher Delgado, the company's CEO, in February of 2026. This was all on wire fraud and money laundering charges connected to the alleged scheme.
Goliath Ventures was a Ponzi scheme that took in over $320 million of regular people, retirees, business owners money under the promise of making them multiple percents per month. We made a CoffeeZilla video about it recently. Christopher Delgado recently talked to the press here without his lawyer present, and we reported this back in October to federal authorities, and about 6 months later, Christopher Delgado was officially arrested.
The Justice Department says the 34-year-old scammed investors out of $328 million through his company, Goliath Ventures.
So what happened to their money that should have been sitting in an account?
Their money was being used to make distributions.
To who?
To either them or other investors.
And what else did you use the money for?
I mean, we used it for corporate events. We used it for personal spend.
Over a series of public appearances, PBD actively promoted them.
Goliath Ventures, founded in 2019. Goliath Ventures is a global private equity firm focused on blockchain, founded by Chris Delgado. It's built on 3 pillars: technology, opportunity, and community.
Most likely because they were the lead sponsor of his own Vault 2025 conference, meaning Patrick was literally being paid to put them in front of his own audience.
But it's not an endorsement. It's a sponsorship. It's not an endorsement. So never mind what you said about going to Yankees games with these guys and them coming to Vault Conference and implying that you're like, they're good in your book, implying that you're like friends with them almost, you know?
This in itself is a bad look because it suggests that if you've got enough capital, Patrick's at your disposal. Once the head of Goliath...
Yeah, that was the due diligence. Some people speculate, allegedly, that the only due diligence they did was, did the check clear?
Goliath faced criminal charges. PBD was not only subpoenaed as a result, but was branded a scammer once more, with Delgado essentially leading with the same playbook that made Patrick a multimillionaire in the first place. In all fairness, it is impossible to know if PBD was aware it was a scam. But when you look at their entire business model, his endorsement of this seems negligent at best and outright devious at worst. Initially, PBD didn't respond to CoffeeZilla's request that he make amends and repay the $1 million he had received from Goliath to victims of the fraud. Soon, Pat realized that he couldn't bury his head in the sand and confronted the accusations directly, but the pursuit of accountability for how he helped prop him up didn't go well. And as usual, PBD talked in circles and never actually answered the question.
You know how sometimes you do...
Thank you, Luesta, and everybody who's been making videos about Pat. Sam Cedar, Luesta, Traplo Ross, thank you guys for not only crediting me and citing my work, but thank you for pointing out that this guy is a oily, smooth-talking, slippery eel who doesn't actually answer anything straightforwardly. He always is slipping and sliding and talking in circles.
Certain crypto deals, and it's like, hey, affiliate, you're going to get this much money for this affiliate. Zero. We didn't accept nothing like that. So there isn't, hey, we're going to pay you an additional, 10% on whatever that's done. Zero. We don't do business.
Right. Also, nobody really seems to have caught the self-snitch right there during the call with CoffeeZilla where he says, you know how sometimes you do crypto deals? Crypto deals. You're talking to CoffeeZilla. That's the worst person you could have said that to. The guy who exposes crypto scams. You're going to say to him, sometimes you do some crypto deals. Yeah, imagine CoffeeZilla promoting some fucking coin.
You got paid but you got paid the $1 million, right? And so,
$1 million
look, I'm not. I know it sounds like I'm trying to put you on the spot. I'm not. It just seems like you're gonna have to fork it over eventually for the receivership, anyways. Like, so many people lost money. It seems like an easy win,
And that's the part where that's the part where I'm in right now. You gotta.
Any grammar, any elementary English teachers in the chat? That's the part where I'm in right now. The English language pursues you, Patrick, but you are faster.
Respect that part that I'm going with. I gave you the respect of getting on a call with you and giving you the information. The information will come out.
No, I appreciate it. So you're not sure whether you're paying the money back yet or not. You're having those conversations.
But here's the other part that you also don't know. You don't know if we're doing other things with the conversations.
You don't know if we're doing other things with the conversations. Like when you actually sit and think about what he's saying, if you were to write down a transcript of what he's saying without hearing his endless waffling and seeing him wave his hands around your face to try to distract you, you realize he's always saying fucking nothing. Doing other things with the conversations. What are you talking about?
Having with others. There's a lot of different things that we're doing that's not public. The only thing you know is the stuff that you're hearing.
And one of the most interesting and
yeah, the only thing we know is that Chris Delgado has been arrested for running a Ponzi scheme, which you promoted. What else is there for me to know? Now is the chance to say it.
Contradictory moments of the near half-hour phone call, PBD claimed not to seek advertising for his podcast, only for CoffeeZilla to make it abundantly clear that he does.
I love this, Luesta. I love that you included this detail, because it's a lie that Pat told right on the phone that Coffee didn't even have to go like do extra digging for. He literally in real time sees that this is a lie during the call.
And not all of it is from morally upstanding sources.
I went to my guys, I said, guys, I don't want sponsorship money. And so our strategy changed where we said, we're going to do sponsorship of products that we run because I'll take responsibility for product that I'm running.
Makes sense. If you don't want to get caught promoting a Ponzi scheme by accident, sell your $600 shoes or sell your Vault conference or sell your merch. Okay. So what does he do? Promotes the Vault conference with the sponsor Goliath Ventures and promotes Goliath Ventures, a Ponzi scheme. And now, as CoffeeZilla is about to reveal, gambling. Yay.
Because I'm the CEO.
Okay, quick question there, though, because I'm looking at your show right now. It says Kalshi on your thing, the sports betting, well, they do prediction markets. Kalshi /PBD. Are you guys partnered with them, and what's that about?
Well, remember, Kalshi is not my, what do you call it, title sponsor. They're a platinum sponsor for the Vault Conference.
Mind you, I mean, this guy's such a fucking eel. The fact he said we don't do sponsors, and a moment ago during the call, he's saying to CoffeeZilla, I told my guys I don't want sponsorship money. Let's promote our own products. And then it goes, oh, well, actually, it wasn't a title sponsor. It was a platinum sponsor. I don't give a fuck what you call it, motherfucker. Do you get money from a platform to promote something on your podcast, yes or no? Well, let me tell you a story.
And remember what I told you. We said we're going Fortune 1000, Fortune 2000. I don't have a problem going with companies that have names, but I'm not going to go with companies that are not names. And Kalshi happens to be a company.
Okay, I was just misunderstanding it because you said you didn't do sponsors on your show.
This is a
Kalshi is also neither a Fortune 1000 nor a Fortune 2000 company.
bad look for Patrick Bet David, prompting speculation about whether he'll sell out to the highest bidder. And at the moment, a scandal like this is the last thing he needs when he's already got himself increasingly caught up in narratives that leave him looking compromised. There was an allusion to PBD's political stances earlier, and this is exactly what was being referred to. At times, PBD has built himself as a centrist who waits to acquire all the information before he can then make an informed decision.
When you're winning, don't believe the hype. When you're losing, don't believe the hype. Whatever story even your own side is saying, why don't you be skeptical a little bit and question it for yourself and see if you can entertain both ideas. I want to find ways to entertain both ideas as much as possible because I find myself becoming sharper when I do that, and I eliminate blind spots. Anytime I'm 100% one side, I have way too many blind spots.
But these days, it looks like he's cashed in all his chips on the right, and those blind spots are now abundant. Instead of challenging the mainstream media, as he believes he does, Patrick tends to align with the status quo and supports controversial right-wing figures, which often harms his reputation. In a notable scandal, he defended Tim Pool and his team during the scandal that exposed how they had been tricked into collaborating with a secret Russian operation.
Tim Pool is a talent. Dave Rubin is a talent. Lauren Chen, very attractive, well-spoken, seems sharp. Maybe they needed the money. I don't know. And then you're putting this in email exchange, so you're incriminating yourself. You are a part of it based on some of the stuff that you've done. But it's a very slippery. This game, by the way, this will be a non-story in about 2 weeks. Everybody will move on.
Yeah. By the looks of it, he wanted to keep these people on site as previous guests and, in all likelihood, friends. And of course, there's defending Trump to the hilt, proclaiming himself to have voted for him in every election and routinely blowing smoke in his direction.
Let's go and talk deception after he wins. November 5th, every odd says he's winning. Kamala's got 80 billionaires that are endorsing her. He's only got 50 billionaires, right? Kamala's got all of Hollywood and all these guys. He doesn't have those guys. He's got the podcasters. He's got the day-to-day people. He's getting the young mill. He's getting the young African-American. It's the biggest plus-minus ever since 1964. But there's one thing that we have to be thinking about. Let's go November 6th.
And away for domestic matters, he's pushing for him to obtain one of the biggest accolades the world has to offer.
But I think this man is on track for winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Some people say the following, which is kind of a weird one to hear, but it's a lot of people believe this case as well. They say if you win a Nobel Peace Prize, kind of part of the establishment. And they don't give the Nobel Peace Prize to anti-establishment candidates.
Yeah, Trump is going to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Right.
So if he doesn't win, it's actually a compliment at the highest level. If he does win, maybe he kind of joined the club, who knows? Or he just piles so much success that those guys are just biting their nails saying, holy shit, if we don't give it to this guy, what else can we do right now? If we gave it to Obama after 9 months, he didn't do anything. I think they're going to be forced to do something. Who knows? What do you think?
There's no shortage.
By the way, guys, fun YouTube exploit that you can use right now is if everybody during a live stream, if you click like if you like the video the way you would on a video, if you like the live stream, the algorithm is going to push this stream out to more of my subscribers. And watch, if everyone does it right now, you're going to see the viewer number spike drastically, probably by 100 people, I would guess. There's 121 likes right now from what I'm seeing and 300 people watching. If everybody who's watching right now clicked like, I bet you it would jump to 4 in moments. But let's see. Maybe they've patched it. But let's see.
Of people who do this for Trump. The reason why it's strange coming from Patrick is that he's billed himself as a disruptor who offers an alternative to the mainstream media. But in practice, this isn't what occurs, as he'll give the mic to anyone to push their agendas if their politics align. After getting fired from CNN for helping his brother, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who covered his tracks during a sexual harassment scandal, rocked up PBD's podcast and was handed a microphone with zero pushback.
I didn't touch anybody. One of the guys put his hand on me, and I said, I'm telling you, take your hand off me. And I gave him the warning. He took the warning. Nobody ever told me what to say or not say at CNN, and I would have told him to take a walk if they did.
And when they saw the footage, even his own fans were startled by the lack of objectivity. It wasn't just that PBD didn't ask enough questions. He barely even expressed any opposing viewpoints. This was Cuomo's show, and the other guys were his admiring sidekicks. What the Pat? This quickly became a pattern, with this absence of opposition also occurring during Andrew and Tristan Tate's appearances, where he let them put forth their own narrative about the accusations they faced from countless victims.
Everyone who is unjustly imprisoned, everyone's gone to jail. Because when you stand up for something, they end up trying to put you in jail. When you're a good person trying to do good, the evil, the matrix as a whole is going to try and throw you in jail. That's what they do. That's the punishment for it.
Why did you go to jail? Why did you get banned? Why did they take your Instagram down? I mean, I remember the pictures. It was all cars and suits and motivational stuff. So is it guilty by association?
It is guilty by association. I hate to say it, but I'm fully aware that I would not have been banned or cancelled or probably ended up in jail if I wasn't Andrew's brother. But there are so many benefits that come with being Andrew's brother that you have to take the good with the bad. So
suddenly, a new precedent emerged. The PBD was an outlet for the wealthy and powerful to push their agenda, and it was all but solidified when he had Netanyahu on the show. Throughout the interview, he portrayed the Prime Minister of Israel as the puppet master, consistently sidestepping difficult questions about topics like the ongoing genocide to allow him to control the narrative and present his own talking points.
And I think that, people see it after you do it. After you do it, after you realize your vision, then people say, well, yeah, we begin to understand it. But they don't before, and that's certainly true of the case here. In the United Nations, you have 180 countries, 190 countries, and a great majority will tell you that the earth is flat. It doesn't make it flat. And the vilifications against Israel is a country committing genocide and other war crimes. That doesn't make it true either. Did you ask me about the ICC prosecution just now? Well, let me tell you about that.
And if you think his fans were angered by the Chris Cuomo situation, this one did a number on his credibility. This dude would do anything for viewers and money. You're the system we all hate. Despite this video sitting at over 44,000 dislikes, PBD continued caping for Zionism when the subject came up, and even squared off with Israel-critical personalities like Dan Bilzerian.
A lot of our politicians have far more allegiance to Israel than they do the United States. I mean, that's a whole other issue as well.
Do you know why they did the dual citizenship? Do you know the history behind why they did the dual citizenship? What do you mean? So the whole concept of dual citizenship was because when Israel became a country again, they didn't want the people from here who wanted to go back to Israel that didn't have a motivation to go if they were going to lose their citizenship here. So that was the reason why they did it. It was kind of like, okay, you're your own country. We kind of need some of you guys to move over there to help the country out. Yeah, but I'm not going to go. Why are you not going to go? Am I going to lose my citizenship here? But you are. I mean, we don't do that. Every other country, I don't want to lose my citizenship. Well, okay, how about if we do this? How about if we allow you, just Israel, to go back to your country, you won't lose your citizenship? That was the arrangement at the beginning why they did it that way.
No, look, I get it. I have 3 citizenships. You know what I mean? I think it's okay.
In the same time, the Trump support has been unwavering, leading to Patrick silencing dissent and writing off anything said against him as derangement.
Hollywood stars going out there becoming super famous, and then all of a sudden guys like Mark Ruffalo, who's a super socialist guy, deca-millionaire, played Hulk, is going out there complaining about America. You got guys like Robert De Niro, who was one of the greatest actors of all time. He can't even control himself when it comes down to Trump. Disagree with the guy, don't like what his ideas are, but they're showing so much weakness every time they...
Sean Carter in the chat, no Jay-Z. What up, Sean? You guys will recognize Sean from an episode of Multi-Level Misery we did several months ago now. Shout out to Sean. That was a great episode. Very eloquent speaker, very well understanding of MLM.
Hear the name Trump, they shiver, and it's just a sign of their weakness and Trump's strength.
He even did the utmost to support him over his Epstein ties.
He went hard on Bill Clinton with Epstein. If you want to play this clip, Rob, go for it.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
Epstein, in your remarks, have been in a few.
Yeah, I think he's got a problem. I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it.
Pause it right there. By the way, if you look at the president, he looks much better than he did here. So he's lost weight. Look at those cheeks. Good for him. Right?
Yeah,
look at that.
Don't talk about the Trump's hypocrisy with criticizing other people for their ties to Epstein when he's literally the most fucking mentioned one in the Epstein files. Talk about how he lost weight.
He was only at too big max than you did in 2015.
But it must be acknowledged that he let it be known that he was let down by how the release of the files were handled by the government.
What did you think when Trump said, nah, Epstein's old news?
You talking about Epstein?
Yeah.
I think, good to be back on with you, buddy, but this is what I would tell you. The #1 trending hashtag right now on X is Epstein. 2 million people have tweeted with the topic of Epstein. #2 is Nicki Minaj at 100,000. Comey's at 42,500. There is a reason why people are asking about this. This is by far, and I'm a supporter. 3 times I voted for this man. This is by far the biggest fumble of the administration they've had thus far, and here's the reason why.
Due to the fact that it involves the homeland that his family fled, Patrick has been very vocal on the matter of the war in Iran. But once again, this proved to be an opportunity to boost Trump and claim it as a win, overlooking things such as the funding request of up to $50 billion to support the war, and the fact that 15 American troops lost their lives for that cause. By this point, many former PBD fans basically feel like he's controlled by his handlers. So it was no surprise that the world seemed to collectively rejoice when he was cooked by Mehdi Hassan, the British-American journalist best known as the head of Zeteo News. Over the course of 2 hours and 30 minutes, Mehdi, who has plenty of critics of his own, completely schooled him, leaving Patrick with little to fire back with.
You know, Donald Trump since October has allowed in 6,069 refugees. And do you know that 6,066, 99.9% of them are from white South Africa? Only 3 are Afghan. Dude. Donald Trump wouldn't allowed you into this country, and yet you sit and support. You voted for him 3 times. Donald Trump would not have allowed.
Bro, Mehdi ate his ass on this podcast. Mehdi absolutely slaughtered this guy.
Little Patrick Bet David into this country. How do you feel about that?
You're so funny.
A genuine question.
You are so funny.
It's a genuine question.
He wouldn't have let little Patrick.
No Iranians were allowed in this year.
After Mehdi asserted his intellectual superiority, he effectively seized control of the whole thing, leaving Patrick struggling to make up any ground whatsoever in the face of some actual data.
Can you please send this chart to this man here?
Pull it up.
The Muslim community is becoming more Republican,
Patrick,
which is great.
Patrick, will you give me permission to read your screen?
Go for it.
Can we scroll down?
Yes.
This is a great moment for me, taking over your show. Scroll down. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Stop. So, the former president's margin of victory over Harris is a minuscule 1.6 percentage point. Actually, it's 1.5. It went down after that. Smaller than that of every winning president since 1888, other than JFK and Richard Nixon. In fact, in the 55 presidential elections in which the popular vote winner became president, listen to this. Oh, your viewers are getting some good facts today. 49 of those 55 elections were won with a margin bigger than Donald Trump's in 2024. I hope the president is watching your show. I know he's a friend of his. He's coming on the show.
Even when it came to the topic of the Iran war, that PBD has been painting himself as an expert in, Hassan showed no mercy and made it clear that he had him where he wanted him.
Isn't UAE succeeding the most out of most of the Gulf states?
Are they?
Financially?
Are they? So many businesses have cleared out. Tourism has fallen. It's a huge industry based on tourism.
For the time.
You think people are going to go back? My thing is,
I think so.
I think that their image has been permanently destroyed. I don't think you can put it back in the bottle. They had this image, especially to kind of white Westerners, as this business, tourist, even residential utopia. You go there, there's no crime, you chill out, everything's cheaper, etc., etc. I think that's gone now. Once Iran has done this, I think they've destroyed that image. Now, if you're Amazon or you're whatever it is, Chase Bank, you're going to go back into Dubai, Abu Dhabi, knowing that Iran can then do this again at any time they want. As long as Iran is still run by the same government, I don't think these Gulf states get that image back. And I think the Qataris understand that, even the Saudis understand that. They want a region, I think privately, and I may be wrong, and the few people in the Gulf I speak to say this to me, they recognize that Israel is the real problem in the region. They may not say so publicly. Some of them have signed up to the Abraham Accords like Bahrain, etc., UAE, but I think they understand that Israel is the destabilizing force in the region.
In the aftermath, fans and haters alike came together to discuss the fact that he was well and truly eviscerated. I haven't seen a pussy taking a pounding like this since the Kim K sex tape. After years of maneuvering to get into the limelight, Patrick Bet David is now being exposed on all levels. Whether it's his limited skills as a debater, the fact that he's parroting the party lines on basically everything, or his proximity to scams, Patrick can't buy a good look at the moment. And now, those who have long suspected that he wasn't on the level are savoring his downfall. PBD is a blood-sucking goal. I have been waiting for this. Now trapped in a financial and ideological cage of his own devising, it's going to be interesting to see how he can possibly reinvent himself. Because at the moment, the shtick that he's been selling has turned toxic and is no longer something anyone wants to buy.
We have one more clip about Iran, and this is important to...
Amazing video by Luesa on his channel, Lou Extras, his second channel. Thank you, Luesa, for the credit you gave to me and to the videos that you showed clips of mine. Really appreciate you. And yeah, glad to see people waking up. Now, we have to react to Sam Cedar's video where he's reacting to the Jack Neal thing. Like, this is going to be hilarious, and I saved this for the stream. I haven't watched this yet. So everybody, thumbs up the ting, click like on the stream. If you haven't, there it is. If you haven't paid your goon tax...
La Real Plain Jane donated 15
there you go.
Canadian dollars. Getting it out of the way.
If you haven't paid your goon tax like La Real Plain Jane, who just filled the dono goal, then please do. Why don't I do a new dono goal? And this will be for... let's just call this $50 billion. How about that? $50 billion. $50 billion. $50 billion. You have to take the D pause, off of the word dollars. $50 billion. It's 50 billion apostrophe A dollars. $50 billion. Let's call this $50 billion. And we'll only make it like $99, but let's pretend that it is $50 billion. If I had $50 billion, my lawyers would be... My lawyers wouldn't know what hit them.
We have one more clip about Iran, and this is important to understand behind the scenes what the plan was for Iran.
The sarcasm from Sam Cedar. Sam, when are you going to have me on the show? I've talked to Sam Cedar on Instagram before. We need to come on now.
And it is hard to assess whether the Trump administration is completely insane or whether Patrick Bet-David is completely insane.
Does it have to be either or?
But then there's a third option where both can coexist. And here is Patrick Bet-David on with Jack Neal. I'm not sure what the show is, the Jack Neal podcast.
12-year-old.
And I don't know, Jack.
So fucking funny the way they're already flaming him, 12-year-old. Also, somebody was in my comments on the Jack Neal thing being like, also, I hate how Jack Neal is doing this purposeful, like, lowering the register of his voice to appear like more mature. Patrick Bet-David. So we're here on the Jack Neal podcast. You know, it's like, it's clearly not your own voice, brother. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? You can go back to old Jack Neal videos and he doesn't sound like that. And he's still young. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Insert the Jim Carrey Truman Show thing. What are you talking about? Also, I've been removing a ton of followers on Instagram recently because I've been getting so many followers who follow like 5,000 accounts. Brother, if you follow 5,000 plus accounts, I'm removing you. You're a bot. There's no human being that needs to follow 5,000 accounts. You're never even going to see my posts. What are you doing? Don't follow me. First of all, don't follow. Here's a guy I'm about to remove. 7,195 following. Get out of here. It doesn't make sense. Anyways, what was I about to look up? I forgot.
I don't know if he seems too phased by this, but this is the road not taken.
And Israel bombed Tehran. The Times of Israel ran a piece. It said why Patrick Bet-David is the leader Iran needs. Did you see this? Mm-hmm. It said, not the Shah's son, but you are actually the man who fits in this moment. I'm sure this is mostly just noise, but have those ideas been entertained by any serious players in your life?
Entertained meaning brought up to me? Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
What else could it mean?
We had extensive conversation about this last, I've never talked about this. We had extensive conversation about this last July when we were in the Hamptons. I got calls saying, do you have any interest?
When I was by the pool in my three-piece suit.
And then we had some major money guys that came.
Pause it for 1 second.
Interest of wanting to do this.
Pause it 1 second. So last July 2025, who is the we? Like, no, I get his entourage. Like, I had Vinny with me. And I had
Sosnick there.
I had Sosnick, and I had the whole crew.
Sosnick will be
I'm curious.
Sam Cedar needs to bring me on his show as Patrick Bet-David and ask me whatever he wants to ask me.
Israel. Who is having these conversations with him? Like, the Israelis, I don't know. Maybe it was Israel. I don't know. But it's curious. We had these conversations, like, who approached him and said, like, you're the guy.
To lead Iran.
To lead Iran.
You know, that's what I just went to click on this episode that has 20,000 views.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to look up. Hold on.
It's only been up for 4 days. I just feel like if you were floating yourself to be the leader of 90 million person
welcome
country.
to New York State. We're out here in the Hamptons. Let me ask you a question, just spitballing. Would you like to?
This video has 31,000 views in 10 days. Always Marco inside true crime. 36,000 views in 7 days. So, Bombaclat. So my interview with Matt Cox, and I'm a guy with, this is a guy who, I have 100,000 subscribers, okay? 123 to be exact. Patrick has millions. Jack Neal has millions. Matt Cox has 1 million, 1.1. So the combined total subscribership, presumably, if all of these are real people, presumably, is like easily 10 million plus people. And between me and Matt Cox, it's like 1.2 million people. And this interview with the craziest title you've ever heard, the craziest clickbait title. They've changed the title a few times, by the way, because the viewership tanked. Like you can, I have an extension that allows you to see like how many times they've changed the title and thumbnail. There was "It's All Lies," Patrick Bet-David on Trump's war, Iran's new leader, and UFOs. Then I've never told anyone this, why the elites wanted me to lead Iran. Who are the elites? The high-level money guys. And then there was also an alternate thumbnail where it was like him dressed as the Shah or as the Ayatollah with Trump. 31,000 views in 10 days. This is a flop even for the other videos on Jack Neal's show. Tucker, 444,000. Alex Hormozy, 134,000. Like, this is an outlier. Even the video with this woman who I've never heard of, Savannah Stone. Who the fuck is Savannah Stone? Even that video has more views than the one with Patrick Bet-David. 31,000 in 10 days. That is it's for sure a 10 of 10 in Jack Neal's back, YouTube studio. Iran war expert. This isn't even like a guy with a name. They didn't even name him. Iran war expert. Who is he? Rachel Wilson. Who is it? Miami's #1 club promoter. Reveals what women want. That did better than a guy claiming that people wanted him to be the leader of Iran. A leader. I'm a very big, a very high level leader, right? Leadership, right? And Always Marco has 37,000 in 3 days less time. That's not bad, actually. How many? I mean, they drop tons of episodes on this shit. It's insane. Where's my episode? There's already been 3 new episodes since then. You know, my episode's not like doing crazy good for this channel. Then again, I also don't have like a crazy crime story. I've never been to jail, so I'm not mad at the performance of this video. I'm just saying, with a fraction of the overall viewership, we're bodying Patrick Bet-David's thing. If you haven't seen this episode, shame on you. That's all I have to say. I'm not even going to be like, yeah, go check it out. No, actually, shame on you if you haven't seen it. Let's read some nice comments about me, shall we? And Paz says cap. Let's see what's cap.
Have anything to do with the Ladyboys? No.
And Paz, you're hilarious. You thought I wouldn't see this? Me going to Thailand didn't have anything to do with the Ladyboys. Cap. You're so funny, and Paz. Hilarious. This guy has been coached to say, in my experience and in my opinion, dude's been dealing with lawyers too long. That's true. That is actually true. Anyways.
Iran.
Can you take time away from his...
Well, wait a second, Matt.
MLM?
That's the real question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The States here. So we talked about it probably for 2 or 3 months, and then at
Fozzie, who's we? Keep him up there. Who's the we?
Maybe it was Ben Palmer from Palmer
Maybe.
Trolls.
And then honestly,
Frank
yeah, but that's what I was about to say. Could you imagine if it was like a Nigerian scam situation where he thinks that this, this must be the Trump national security team
AI
asking me.
voice, Patrick, would you like to run Iran?
Which brings up the whole thing about me. I've got millions coming actually from a bank in Nigeria, but that's okay.
It's not a job I want to do right now. But this happened probably...
And the Jack Neal scowl, from
July of last year till October, and we made the decision we're not going to be doing this.
What would you say is the primary reason you wouldn't want to be the new leader of Iran?
Pause it for a second. Hold on. Wait a second. Wouldn't your first question be? Wouldn't the first question be? Wait, who asked you to do this? Like, who asked you to be the leader of Iran? That to me is like, who in July of last year was asking, are you open to being leader of Iran?
And like, is that how it works? Surely you have to like live there. You know, I'm guessing there's some sort of like vote or democracy. I don't know.
What? And Patrick Bet David doesn't feel like necessary to explain. I was approached. I was offered the job.
They vetted me.
And this guy's like, ooh, and why wouldn't you want to do that?
This is why you go on a show with a 12-year-old host.
Exactly.
Probably for 2 or 3 months, and then at the end of the day, I said, "It's just not a job I want to do right now."
Wow.
But this happened probably from July of last year till October, and we made the decision we're not going to be doing this.
What would you say is the primary reason you wouldn't want to be the new leader of Iran?
I'm America first. This is the greatest country in the world for me. I mean, listen, would I be able to change the economy, be a glue between the States and Europe, and open up the market where the 92 million people could start doing business, creating jobs, economy?
First
Do
day.
I believe I would be able to do that? Yes, I have the confidence.
Of course. Of course.
Wait, I mean, I'm sorry.
Of course he would.
He's bragging about being able.
That's not the problem.
He's bragging about being able to open a door which has already been ajar, and all he had to do was quickly push. Like, yeah, yes, the Americans that would be installing you, Patrick Bet David, as the leader of Iran.
Is it Americans?
Or Israelis, however you want to say it, would be okay with you, yes, opening up Iran to capitalism, because that's the whole point of this.
Same time as Charlie Kirk Hampton
believe in the
meetings. Yeah,
genocide?
no kidding. No shit. Why is my Why is my computer opening Apple Music? Get the fuck out of here.
Jar, and all he had to do was quickly trick Bet David as the leader of Iran.
Is it Americans?
Or Israelis, however you want to say it, would be okay with you, yes, opening up Iran to capitalism, because that's the whole point of this.
You know, what is, I think, the most upsetting part of this for me is Patrick clearly knows that he could really, really improve the lives of 92 million people.
Oh,
He's just that America
But instead, he thinks being an American is not about helping each one of those 92 million people reach their top potential. Like in the top on the emotional EQ chart, he could put these people at the top of the chart, and he won't do it. That's not what America is. America is not don't help 92 million people.
Yep.
When you are uniquely situated
Marjorie Taylor
to
Greene,
liberate them.
Marjorie Taylor Greene cares so much about Palestinian rights, which is why she left Congress when she has no power anymore.
Patrick Bet David can save them. And only he. When God has given you the gifts that God has given Patrick Bet David, it is wrong. This dude is... The thing is, I think I don't even see where he is on this.
Power versus force.
Figure it out.
He transcends the color.
He could be all being and perfect peace. He could be a 600. He could be a peace on enlightenment 600. I mean,
no, the self is he's in that 7 to 1,000.
I just like it when you have the ability.
He knows his limitations.
The unique ability that Patrick Bet David has to save 92 million people. You owe it to the world.
Yeah, see, they got him in the sort of joy peace region of 540 to 600, where he's complete already, and he doesn't need to do this. If he'd be in acceptance, he would accept this job if he was down at 350.
Right.
Good point.
It's just a bad timing on their part. They should have consulted the chart earlier.
He's at Godview. He can't.
Let's go back and listen to more of this, because I just, this is the thing that I find really disappointing, is that, Patrick, how can you not help these people when you're so uniquely?
Such a good
This is like that.
Sell insurance.
This is like that movie that you like so much. This
Sell insurance. Whoever the producer is on this show is killing it. He's hilarious.
Superman thing where he was questioning, am I going to
never gonna
kryptonite? Like,
live
am I going
that
to do
down.
this? Am I going to do? This is like the same situation where he's got to go to his fortress of solitude in the Hamptons or down in his
waterfront fortress of solitude,
and look himself in the eye and say, like, can I really walk away from this, knowing that I'm so uniquely situated to take care of this? Go ahead.
For it. My dad is like, he is 100%. But I'm the leader.
Matt!
What did I do?
I need to see that he's going to say something positive.
Apparently, Matt couldn't turn Iran around.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why they didn't ask him.
Somebody's a little rusty, it looks like. I mean, honestly, if you are... I just... It's hard for me to accept that Patrick would turn away from this.
When you pull that sword out of the stone, you don't just put it right back in the stone.
Yeah, you don't say, "Oh, you know what? Actually, I got some errands to run. I can't."
I got kids to feed.
The world for me. I mean, listen, would I be able to change the economy, be a glue between the States and Europe, and open up the market where 92 million people could start doing business, creating jobs, economy? Do I believe I would be able to do that? Yes, I have the confidence from the business mind and being a problem solver that, yeah, I think I could do that. Do I have any interest? No. Can I play a role and help out? Sure. But as the guy to be the leader doing that, I got 4 kids, 14, 12, 10, 4 years old. Do I want to put them through this right now? No. I would have to be there. I would need to live there. This isn't like a Zoom president that you're going to know. If you get that job,
I asked about that.
That job has to be you're moving there.
Oh, pause it for a second. Yeah, now this is... I guess when he had this conversation, this is also one of the things I would say. Like, I don't like to give a lot of personal advice, but when you are on a job interview, you want to ask, like, can I do this remotely? Do I need to, if you're going to install me as the president of the country, is this something you expect that I'm going to have to be there? Like,
is this a hybrid model of a workplace?
Could I do Mondays and Fridays in the States and then like Tuesday through Thursday in Iran? How would we work that out? That's like one of the questions. And it's good that Patrick, now he probably didn't get to it with a couple months in, like, wait, no, I'm getting the sense that you're going to expect that I'm going to be there full time to run the country. Okay.
As the king.
Yeah, okay.
Also, have the Iranian people come up at all? Just throwing that out there. Except for to 92 million, the figure.
But, okay,
you know what about what they
You're
want,
jaded.
though? I know.
He knows. I'm gonna be there for the people. I can't do the whole president thing over Zoom like all the other presidents who do the Zoom stuff.
All the Zoom presidents.
All the Zoom presidents.
Right.
Like,
Karen says, PBD such a double standard scammer. He claims to be anti-illegal immigration, but loves to hire undocumented immigrants into his MLM company. Allegedly, according to you, I'm not saying that. Future looks bright for 93 million Iranians under PBD. Was listening in the car 20, 30, 60, 10 minutes. I remember when Adam was asking why Gazans can't just make their own businesses and become millionaires. Yeah, good point, Adam.
I can't. I'm not going to do that.
I mean, Trump does it from his toilet, so.
When so many times you get asked, do you want to run this country? You want to run that country? Sometimes you get asked, do you want to run a city? You want to run a town? And I'm like, I'm the type of guy. If you're going to put me in charge of that, I'm going to be there. I'm not
110%.
Wow. Hands on.
I'm not going to, this is not going to be like one of those, I'm going to shoot a couple of emails off at the beginning of the week and expect people to do it. I'm going to be there.
Or maybe he could hire 2 people underneath him, and then they could hire 2 people underneath them, and then they could hire 4 people underneath them, and then 8 people underneath them, and that could be the structure of the government.
You
almost
hire them,
like
but
a pyramid.
This is also a way you could raise money. Have them pay to work for the government.
That's a good point.
Have them pay me.
That's Iran's reparations for the
prime
bombing.
nectar of
I
Iran.
asked them if I could do it through Manect, and
So can I send a letter or a diplomatic message to leader of, let's say, China? You want to think about a place like China, Japan, somewhere in one of these Asian countries, right? Actually, a friend of mine, long time ago, back when I was in Palm Beach, he was an Asian guy. Family owned a liquor store in the hood, but that's for another time. Could I send them a video on Minect?
they wouldn't adopt the Manect technology. So I said, maybe not for me. Go ahead.
That's not something we're interested in. To have that job, what do you have to be able to do? Number one, I was born there. I lived there 11 years. So it's not like I never lived there. I lived there 11 years, and then we went to Germany, and then we came here.
11 years. At 11 years old, okay, first of all, you've only even been really like sentient or conscious for like 5 or 6 years. How old were you, chat, during your earliest memory in life? What age were you? I think I was probably 4. The first 3 years didn't even happen as far as I'm concerned. I was just 4 one day. And I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? So you lived there 11 years. Let's say he was 4 when he became sentient. So you have 7 years of lived experience. How many of those years were you actually like attuned to the market and the political landscape and whatever? You know?
Okay.
You have to have a sense of having a message of selling the future, okay? You have to sell the vision of what could happen to Iran one day. You have to have ideas that's going to make it better for them. You have to have thick skin because everyone's going to attack you. They're going to use phrases as this guy's the puppet this, he's a this, he's a... You have to be ready
Democracy
for it. It's not like you're not going to take it. Any of those things doesn't bother me. I feel qualified with it.
He speaks about democracy like it's an inconvenience.
But I have young kids, and for me, I would be away from them at a phase that they need me the most. And my dad is definitely not for...
Yeah, couldn't they just come with you? Surely if you're the leader of Iran, you could have enough, you could afford to have an English-speaking, like, tutor and whatever. Like, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
For it. My dad is like, he is 100%. But I'm the leader of the household. At the end of the day, this is my decision that I'm making. I'm not making it because I listen to everybody what they have to say. But
whoever this producer is killing me. Dad, should I want Iwan?
Probably spend a good 80 hours on this decision. This is not like something we took lightly.
Wow.
80 hours over 3 months. I think I did the math on the previous stream talking about this or on the stream where I reacted to this interview, and I did the math on it, and it's like an hour a day, 5 days a week for 3 months.
Who's we?
Yeah.
Okay, wait a second. Like, is that... What, like, okay, let's say he had decided, yeah, actually, no, I think I could do it. I'll bring my family over and let's do it. What's the next step? How do we, hey, I got an email. Oh, I got offered the job. You know what? Yes, I am very happy to take the job. I'm very excited about it. Please let me know what the next steps are.
Why is he not even considering taking his kids with him?
Well, no, I would take the kids.
Career. Sometimes you got to do something for your career. It's security for your family.
What would be the onboarding process?
I like how he left at 11 and still thinks he can lead Iran, but Zoran Mamdani came to this country at 7 and he can't be president. Ugh, so stupid.
You were born in Tehran during the Iraq-Iran war. And
what?
This kid's got some PBD cadence down. It's like, I don't know what I'm saying.
Right, I thought that was him talking
like
at first, yeah.
All the U.S. bombed the city you grew up in. Were you cheering as an American, or did you think about the boy that escaped that country?
Till today, I have vivid memories of what happened when I lived in Iran and where was going on. I remember the whistling sounds. I remember all of it. Every single one of them. I remember every single time war happened, we escaped from Tehran. My dad took us to a city called Karaj, which, by the way, Karaj, one of the bridges got hit recently.
All right, we're good.
Yapping! Already telling a news story. PBD can run Iran from Casa D'Angelo, right?
That kid just blew past all of that.
Yeah. Oh, so you were asked to run Iran. Okay. Hey, what else? Like, will you tell me what kind of car do you drive?
He thinks it's noble to take care of 4 kids in over 92 million people's lives.
Yeah.
Sorry, man, I can't come visit my grandma in the hospital. They said she's going to die later today, but man, I just have so much homework.
What an honorable man.
Oy.
It's family, baby.
Kowalski from Nebraska. Full disclosure, I am the one who emailed PBD from an alt account and offered him the job to be the new leader of Iran. I was really just hoping he would fly there without thinking about it or send one of his co-hosts to negotiate the transfer of power.
The email was thecountryofIran@gmail.com.
Can you imagine him sending Adam as his diplomat?
Yeah, oh, his envoy. Oh, God.
That is.
There's no one oak in Iran, right?
Amazing.
Is there Casa D'Angelo in Iran?
I want to know who was it asked him.
He even said it.
That's really
the question, right?
Like, many people.
That is the question. Why didn't the child journalist ask him that question?
We're at Casa D'Angelo and some money men moved in. Like, you want to run around?
That's amazing. I'm sorry. That's just amazing.
The level of comfort he has with lying. I was going to be installed as the president of Iran.
Like, I want to know who it was that asked him to do this, that he thought, like, this is a serious conversation. We spent 3 months talking about it.
I'm not ruling out that some idiot in the Trump administration said something like this to him. I mean, they wanted to install Maria Corina Machado as the leader of Venezuela.
It could be someone from the Trump administration. It could be just like somebody who was friends with the Trump administration.
Right.
It could be anybody. But this is a grown man.
Yes.
Who considers himself a business titan, whose advice is worth $15,000 for 15 minutes, is it?
Yeah.
With a minimum.
Well, that's Ronald Reagan's. Right? I don't know.
That's also Ronald Reagan's.
Yeah.
But, and he's talking about this like, I walked away from it.
Yeah.
It would have happened, but I decided against it. So they went with the other guy. Like, are you kidding me? It's one thing to say, here's a funny story. Some fucking idiot comes up to me in the Hamptons and says, do you want to run Iran? And I was like, sure. But you know what? Actually, I probably shouldn't because my kids are too young. Right. But
Don Jr. walks up to me 30 seconds after drilling a hole in his septum. Says, you want to run Iran?
It's like the difference between Patrick Bet-David completely making this up whole cloth or taking seriously the idea brought to him by anybody is like razor thin. I'm sorry, this was not going to happen under any circumstance. The Iranian people, oh, thank God it's Patrick Bet-David. We were so worried it could have been somebody else. We could have gotten anybody from the United States who could have come in and dropped a...
Oh my God.
Like, I'd say it could be like the monarchists, but even like Pahlavi, like, how depressed would he have to be to think, like, maybe Patrick's got a better shot than I do?
I mean...
They are delusional, the
Yeah.
monarchists. I saw a bunch of them in London actually protesting the end of the conflict.
Really?
Yeah, it was their sort of Iranian monarchist flag and the Israeli flag, and I knew exactly what it was.
You're so funny.
Seem like great people.
It's just amazing. This guy's either just an incredible liar or just so deluded by...
PBD was asked if he wants to run Jersey Mike's or Iran. Hilarious.
I mean, it's not an either or, but I just find that really impressive.
That's how you make that amount of money. It's not talent. It's just a sociopathic ability to just lie.
Total lack of shame.
That's what Succession got right about who ended up, I mean, we won't spoil it, but who ended up being the CEO. That's the kind of person.
Well, he loved the question as an opportunity just to, like, gloat and pretend and posture as, like, a peacock of, oh, yeah, I make big decisions and actually, yes.
Could I run the country? Of course.
Of course. In fact...
Imagine saying that. Imagine saying that.
Of course I could. That's the way that you... that's what... If Ronald Reagan's smart... He puts on his Manect profile, was asked to run Rhode Island. That's the way that you, that's what, but it was across the country. I didn't want to do it. I got small kids. I would have to reassess my love of Oregon apples and Washington State apples. And so I couldn't do it. But you put that on Manect, asked to run, Rhode Island, you're going to do well.
I chose Majority Report over North Korea. I heard it's real cold.
Could I reintegrate this back into the...
I don't want to have to get that haircut they all have.
Oh, yeah.
Eat all the oons.
And that outfit. You'd have to start dressing like Hassan Piker.
Or Hillary Clinton.
Hey, folks.
Hilarious. Okay, there's one more video I want us to watch. We watched the Sam Cedar one. Hilarious. We watched the Luesa one. Beautiful. Now,
do you believe...
There's another one. Here go two more for y'all. This is about Patrick when he was interviewing Dan Bilzerian. The video is called Dan Bilzerian Humiliates Patrick Bet-David Over Defending Israel. Maybe I shouldn't react to this one, actually. Maybe, Caleb, we'll watch a little bit of it.
Do you believe in the genocide they're committing?
I think they're fighting for themselves and they're defending themselves.
Do you think that's defense? Well, when 1,200 people died, of which the 1,200 you've killed, and admitted that you've killed a lot during, your hand.
I will tell you this. Because you're saying it one-sided. You're not telling the other side of the story of what they're doing either. You're not saying what Hamas did. You're not saying what they did.
What did Hamas do?
I mean...
You're not saying what the Muslims did, right?
From day one, when you see the rapes and the videos, we've all seen it. This isn't something that...
We've all seen it, have we?
What rapes and videos?
But
I still haven't seen that.
Stay on this here if you want to continue with this.
But what rapes and videos?
But my concern when you're saying Israel's doing it, you're saying the other side isn't doing anything?
No, there was no rapes during October 7th. They've shown no rapes from October 7th. They showed no beheaded babies. All that was all bullshit.
Comments you're making about Israel a recent thing, or have you always had these beliefs?
It's more recent. I didn't really realize what a problem it was until recently, and then everybody was scared to say something about it. My brother told me, like, you can't say anything about it. They'll fucking kill you. Like, everybody basically said that I couldn't say anything about it. And actually now they're like literally like trying to like kick me off the board of my company because of those tweets. So, like, shit. Yeah, I've definitely had a lot of like negative pushback, a lot of my Jewish friends, but I don't give a fuck. It's like one of those things where I know that it's the right thing, and the fact that everybody else is scared to say it makes me, feel obligated to be vocal about it.
Why do you think it's the right thing?
Because I know that they're a fucking parasite. Like, they provide the U.S. absolutely no value. They've done so many things that, would constitute, an act of war against us. I mean, USS Liberty, Lebanon Affair, I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on. But, and I think they knew about 9/11. I think they had JFK assassinated. The first thing that he wanted to do, right before he died was, make AIPAC a foreign entity and not allow them to have nukes. And then all of a sudden this fucking guy's dead. And Jack Ruby, who is Jack Rubenstein, I mean, it's just like, and then you just, I don't know, man, I can't ignore all the shit that they've done. They sold their secrets. Netanyahu lied to us about weapons of mass destruction. We fought all these fucking wars. My friends have died over there. And I just look at what they provided us with, and it's fucking, it's not nothing. It's like a negative, it's not, even if they just didn't do jack shit, that would be, bad, but they've actually done things to hurt us over and over and over again. So like this whole thing of they're our greatest allies, just complete fucking bullshit. And, we send them $100 billion, then they send AIPAC $100 million, and then they distribute it to our politicians, and every politician is a little fucking AIPAC handler walking around and telling them what to fucking say and how to vote. And it's just like, look, I'll donate like $100,000 to politicians, and they call me up like, hey, you need anything? Like every week. I don't need shit. I fucking sit on my ass. I don't do anything. I don't care. I don't fucking break any laws. I don't need any favors. Like I just gave it to them because I didn't want to see any more fucking retard, Democrats in there. So, but that's 100,000. Like what does 100 million buy you? How many fucking phone calls do those guys get? And so like, I just know how it works. And the system is broken. Like these people get into office and they don't have very much money and they get out of office with fucking tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. It's not a fucking accident, right?
Is that an Israel thing or is that anybody? Because China's doing the same thing.
China doesn't have they don't have an AIPAC. Like Israel is the only one that has a fucking like a lobby in the U.S. fucking, giving these politicians money.
Okay, no, every country, the big ones all have lobbyists. They all have lobbying that they're doing.
Not in the U.S. They're registered as foreign entities.
Right. I mean, if you're talking about, are you going to the dual citizenship part with Israel, Israel?
That's another problem is a lot of our politicians have far more allegiance to Israel than they do the United States. I mean, that's a whole nother issue as well.
Do you know why they did the dual citizenship? Do you know the history behind why they did the dual citizenship?
What do you mean?
Like, so the whole concept of dual citizenship was because when Israel became a, country again, they didn't want the people from here who wanted to go back to Israel that didn't have a motivation to go if they were going to lose their citizenship here. So that was the reason why they did it. It was kind of like, okay, you're your own country. We kind of need some of you guys to move over there to help the country out. Yeah, but I'm not going to go. Why are you not going to go? Am I going to lose my citizenship here? But you are. I mean, we don't do that. Every other country, I don't want to lose my citizenship. Well, okay, how about if we do this? How about if we allow you, just Israel, to go back to your country, you won't lose your citizenship? That was the arrangement at the beginning why they did it that way.
No, look, I get it. I have 3 citizenships. You know what I mean? I think it's okay. I think
what's the third one? I know Armenia, but what's the
St. Kitts.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't have an issue with dual citizenship. My issue is when somebody is holding a U.S. office and they are putting a foreign nation's interest before America's interest, and they are favoring that other country. And so that to me is treason. Like when you are a U.S. government official, your motivation should be to do things in the best interest of the government that you are representing, not 100%. Some other fucking foreign country. And that's the problem. Do you believe in the genocide they're committing?
I think they're fighting for themselves and they're defending themselves.
Do you think that's defense?
Well,
when 1,200 people died, and of which the 1,200 you've killed and admitted that you've killed a lot during, your handle.
I will tell you this. If Israel's the enemy, then if let's just say you don't do anything and everybody in the Middle East unites to take out Israel, do you think the Middle East is better without Israel? And do you think the world's a safer place without Israel?
100%. It's not even close.
Okay, tell me why. Why do you think?
Give me an argument otherwise, please. But give me one argument why the world would be better off with Israel. Let's just start with that. One thing. Give me one thing.
Have you ever lived in the Middle East?
No.
I lived there for 10 and a half years. It's a very it's
so it's 10 and a half, not 11. Okay.
It's not as like here. You can sit here. You can be an atheist. You can be an agnostic. I can be a Christian. He can be a Jew. He can be an LDS, Muslim. No problem. We can coexist here. You can do that in Israel. You can do that.
I mean, not really. They're operating apartheid right now. Everybody's not living equally.
Not at the level of Iran. Not at the level of what Iran is doing. I mean, in Iran, if you're thinking what Israel is doing out of control, do you know how much money Khamenei's families made?
Do you know how much money they've taken? They have 200.
I've never been to Iran, but I've been to Dubai, I've been to Saudi, like I've been to UAE. So like, and they're all Muslim. They seem to be operating fine.
I would say Iran's slightly different than, but go back to it. So, okay. So you think the Middle East and the world would be a better place if Israel didn't exist?
Yes.
Okay.
Israel's committed, so many terrorist attacks.
Notice Pat also here didn't answer Dan's question about what's one positive Israel has done. Instead, he answered with a question and said, have you ever lived in the Middle East? So, and now we're on to a new thing. I don't think Dan caught that, but now they've moved on to a new thing. Anthony in the chat. Yes. Okay. Sloucho says, Pat's whole positive spin on dual citizenship was that it solely benefited Israel/Jews. Nothing about America. Yeah, that's true as well. Gaza D'Angelo would like to support your work. Guys, if you want to support, the Streamlabs link is in the chat. You guys might not know this, some of you watching this, but there's 300 people watching right now. And I'm gearing up in this next month for the biggest battle of my life, a legal battle against a company that I talked about that sued me. And there's nothing barring me from talking about it, but I'm trying to make sure I do it in the right way and, with my lawyer's approval and all of that. And yeah, I'm gearing up for the battle of my life here in this next month of July here. And all of the support that I can get is much needed in every way. Sharing when I talk about it, support, financial, if obviously people are being squeezed right now, but if you're one of the people who is fortunate enough to be able to support and you want to, trust me, now is when it's needed more than ever. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars in this past 12 months on legal costs. I still owe tens of thousands more, and it still may cost me tens of thousands more after that. So, I really am going to be leaning on the audience that I've built and the connections I've made with other people who have large audiences, and calling in every favor and trying to summon the Avengers in every which way I can in this next month to try to come out on top, because I'm definitely on the back foot. I'm in the disadvantageous position in this battle. So, but it's what I think I'm here for. It's my purpose that I was here to fight against scams on behalf of people who've been taken advantage of or who will be taken advantage of. And I know there's many other people out there who are also passionate about this cause of exposing, the lobbying that's going on with multi-level marketing and what these companies actually are and what they actually do. And Patrick Bet-David is a byproduct of that. It's my coverage of him and my impressions of him have gone viral because, yeah, it's funny and people, the MLM thing is one element of it that people are aware of why he's untrustworthy, but it's more so the waffling and the babbling and the nonsense and the Israel and the whatever. But the multi-level marketing part is such a big part of it that, created his ability to do everything else, which is annoying. So, I'll just say I appreciate all of the support, and 123,000 people. Obviously, the number on screen is never going to be representative of the actual amount of people that are active or engaged or whatever. Like, I get comments sometimes, people being like, "Oh, I haven't seen your content come up on my feed in 2 years, and I've been subscribed to you since 2019." Who knows? But I'm just speaking hypothetically. If 123,000 people all donated $5, the cost of a coffee, you can even get, actually, a coffee would be more expensive than that, actually, if you went to like Starbucks or something. But you get my point, so I'm going to need to do what I can. Maybe half of my subscribers put in $10. Maybe you get what I mean. It would be the same result. So really appreciate all the support, you guys. I try to respond to every message that I get. It's impossible for me to do that between TikTok and Instagram and YouTube comments. It's just impossible. But if you want to talk to me one-on-one, you can book a one-on-one call with me on alwaysmarcomerch.com. Or if you want my guidance and help, actually helping you build your own social media, maybe there's a a purpose or a cause that you're passionate about, that you want to grow as well, then I'll put the link for that in the chat as well. missiontomonetization.com. You can watch my free content creation workshop there and work with me to that end as well. So I don't just want people to support me for nothing. I want to try to give back in whatever way I can. So even if it's something like, the new site I'm building right now, alwaysmarco.vip, that's free to join still. But if I can put out like exclusive content or give early access to content in exchange for people's support, that's obviously something I want to do. But that my ability to even do stuff like that has been hampered in the last year because of this lawsuit. And so it's really an insane, remarkable, incredible battle that I've been going through, and I'm gearing up to really try to end it in this next month here. So appreciate all your support, you guys.
They're stealing land right now. They're operating apartheid. They're currently committing a genocide on Palestinians. Like, do you believe in the genocide they're committing?
I think they're fighting for themselves and they're defending them.
Thank you, Slice Bread.
At
And
Slice
use
Bread XXX
use the
92.
Streamlabs link in the chat. Don't use the YouTube super chat. They take 30%, but thank you.
Do you think that's defense? Well, when 1,200 people
Appreciate you,
died,
Slice Bread.
of which the 1,200 you've killed, and admitted that you've killed a lot during, your handle.
I will tell you this. The part I question, where people who are Jewish can't stand when I say this, I don't know how you, Netanyahu, claim you have the best intelligence in the world, Mossad, and you didn't know that on October 7th they're attacking
They knew about it. They didn't. They wanted it to happen, so they had a reason to take that. Yeah, they wanted a reason to take the land.
I totally get it.
And they killed their own citizens. And they claimed that all these people got raped. That was bullshit. They claimed beheaded babies. That was bullshit.
Interesting question, Patrick. It's almost the same question I would ask you about Goliath Ventures. How is it that you're a big, successful businessman, $350 million, and you sold your insurance company and you're a part owner of the New York Yankees, and you had your team doing due diligence, but you couldn't sniff out that Goliath Ventures was a Ponzi scheme, even though Danny DeHeck and others had been posting about it being a Ponzi scheme for however long before that. 12th of the 12th, 12th of the 12th says, can you help me build a hair clientele? Of course I can.
Everything that
go watch the free workshop. I'm sure you'll get some ideas just from that. But if you also want me to help you, then yeah, of course I can.
It was a fucking complete. Not only was it a lie, but they committed all those atrocities themselves to the Palestinians and been caught doing it. In fact, they just got caught gang raping Palestinians. How many babies have they killed? All the things that they accuse the Palestinians of, or Hamas of, or whatever, they're guilty of 100-fold themselves. And they've been doing that. Like, October 7th wasn't the start of this. Like, the start of this was Nakba. They've done so many different.
Disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, so I mean, this is not like, it's not like October 7th is like, it's all of a sudden they just came over there unsolicited and just.
By the way, I'm going in a couple of weeks to meet Norman Finkelstein. If you don't know Norman Finkelstein and you're interested in learning about this history, this Israel-Palestine history, you need to know who Norman Finkelstein is. He's the
Anonymous donated
Thank you,
14
Anonymous.
Canadian
Appreciate
dollars
you.
and 19 cents. Good luck on the fight.
Norman is probably the premier authority, scholastic authority on Israel-Palestine. Had been writing about it and advocating about it for years and years and years until October 7th. That's when people started to care. That's when it became big news. Here, 10 days ago, he did an interview with a channel with 1,000 subscribers. So I've reached out to see if I could do a interview with him when he comes here. He's coming to Edmonton to do a speaking engagement. If anybody knows Norman Finkelstein, he's high level. Yeah. If anybody knows him or has a contact for him, please do let me know, because I would love to interview him, because I think the stuff that he has to share about the sort of brainwashing of Israeli society, where he's described it as being like a satanic society, I think we could find some overlaps in talking
Anonymous
about.
donated 14 Canadian
Thank you,
dollars and
Anonymous.
19 cents. Good luck on the fight.
Thank you, another Anonymous. I think there would be some great overlap to discuss with the sort of brainwashing elements of multi-level marketing, as well as Israel. So, yeah, I mean, he's very active talking about, I mean, look, two months ago, 500,000 views. 2 years ago, 1 million views. 3 months ago, 100,000. 2 months ago, 138,000. Yeah, he's He's a legend, and so even if I don't get to interview him, just being able to meet him will be a big check mark off the bucket list for sure. Big shout out Norman Finkelstein.
Just kill people. Like, they have been killing Palestinians for years and years, operating two sets of justice. You know, it's like they have the justice for the Palestinians and the justice for the Israelis. And if you read the Talmud, like, you know, if you're not Jewish, you're basically not a human. You're like, you know, like cattle. If a Jew is, you know, is killed by, you know, somebody that's not Jewish, then it's the death penalty. If a Jew kills somebody that's not a Jew, then, you know, you can't kill them. It's not.
Goy lives matter. Goyim lives matter. But I don't know. I don't want my YouTube channel to get in trouble for reacting to this, so I might have to clip this off and not include this bit and just keep it about Patrick's not. But anyways, I mean, you get the point about that we're making here about Patrick Bet-David overall. The Emperor has no clothes. I mean, we can just look at the comments of this video. Patrick looks for any excuse to protect his masters in Israel. This is 4 days ago. Oh my God, PBD is a complete idiot and a paid shill for Israel. Patrick is ridiculously sold out. Shill for Israel. In what world does China have a lobby in the U.S. on the level of AIPAC? Can't stand PBD. The goal shifting from PBD is insane. BPD, bipolar disorder. I've never seen Patrick this scared and hesitant before. I stopped watching Patrick because he won't condemn Israel. I mean, you know. PBD's a sellout. He made his money off a pyramid scheme selling insurance, according to this comment, allegedly, in their opinion, not me saying that. You know, I'm just so glad to see the veil has been lifted, it seems, and people realize who this guy is and what he's all about. And yeah, I don't like him. Fuck him. All right, you guys. Well, that's it for me today. 2.5 hours in. I got to do some more editing to get this new multi-level misery out for Tuesday. A bunch more clips to edit from the Matt Cox podcast. A bunch more work to do for my lawyers. Yeah. So, but thank you guys for being here. This was a big one. We had like over 300 people at certain points, which is a lot for a non-debate stream. So thank you guys. And yeah, once again, all the support is muchly appreciated. If you're watching this on the replay, you already know the drill. Streamlabs link in the chat. I will personally email you and thank you if you're dropping a bag after, like when we're off the air. So thank you guys, and we'll be back on Wednesday if I'm still alive. So yeah, appreciate y'all.
Little Marco.
We did it. Well, we did it. And we'll be back. Yes, connect with me on Manect, a.k.a. alwaysmarcomerch.com, where you can book a one-on-one. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace out.